戦争は変わった。一つの時代が終わり、俺たちの戦争は終わった。
War has changed. It's no longer about nations, ideologies, or ethnicity. It's an endless series of proxy battles fought by mercenaries and machines. War and its consumption of life has become a well-oiled machine. War has changed. Verified soldiers carry algorithmic arms, manipulate social influence, AI enhance and regulate their timelines. Memetic control, information control, emotion control, battlefield control. Everything is monitored and kept under control. War has changed. The age of deterrence has become the age of control, all in the name of averting catastrophe from weapons of mass destruction. And he who controls the battlefield controls history. War has changed. And when the battlefield is under total control, war becomes routine.
Think outside the cage.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Crime News Tour.
You're listening to Canary Crime News Talk. It's not a podcast, it's a lifestyle. This is July 1st, 2026 on episode 954. And today, Mainstream Ultra. Signing on from off the grid, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy, Basil, and you are not crazy.
Wow, I like the change up. And my name is Gonz, at Face Like the Sun, director of the Age of Deceit films, your favorite, or your author, what am I? I'm an author of Prophecy Without Panic, Recovering the Patterns of Bible Prophecy, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, live to tape from the metaverse to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And it is Wednesday, my dudes.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Wednesday. And today, there's a lot of things on the Canary Cry calendar. 1941, world's first television commercial airs.
Oh,
so there's that.
Ominous.
Yeah, very. I think there's symbolic stuff going on with that. With today's stories,
auspicious occasion. I'm gonna have to make a note of that for one of our things here.
Yeah. Another thing is 1946 CDC created. So there's that.
Oh, also okay, cool.
Prescient. The timing is everything. And 1968. Operation Phoenix. So there you go.
Remind me Operation Phoenix. Do you know off the top of your head?
I do not. I know Operation Phoenix was a part of Counter-Strike, the game. I think that was like 2011, somewhere
I got
in
it here.
There was
interesting. Okay, also prescient for today. Operation Phoenix was a CIA-led program during the Vietnam War aimed at identifying and neutralizing the Viet Cong through various means, including assassination and interrogation. The program operated from 1968 to 1972, also an important date for today's show, and was heavily criticized for its methods and high number of civilian casualties. Come on, CIA.
Of course, the CIA under the gun today. And yeah, and also the whole theme of the Phoenix Rising is always something to point out too. Anytime there's a phoenix, there's Indeed. Esoteric, symbolic power behind the dying and rising entity of the Phoenix. So gotta keep that in mind. Rebirth is here. We're in the golden age. Are we tired of winning? We're winning. So much winning going on.
We're certainly here to identify and play in the space as we watch the the old system of PSYOP crumble around us, this theme of transparency from the elites in the world to try to gain the favor and the trust of everybody who's been kind of waking up lately. But of course, this is all part of the master plan when it comes to the next age of control, Gons. And there's some big news today that we're going to get into in just a little bit. But I thought you know what? The mainstream is doing such a good job. They're so good at their job when it comes to controlling the narrative, directing our attention in certain directions that is advantageous to whoever's paying the highest price. And to put that another way, that's distractions, Gons. So I thought it'd be a good idea just to take a second and just touch base with the distraction of the day. What do you say?
Well, it will be more than a second, but I agree.
PSYOPs.
Dang it. I think I was PSYOP'd.
Dang it.
Dang
I
it.
think I've been psyoped.
Dang it. I think I was PSYOP'd.
Romance is in the air.
Yes, a
Literally.
stunt. A big
Way
stunt,
up in the air.
Gons. And if there's anything that the mainstream media loves more than war, it is a nice distracting stunt, and especially, you know, by someone or something mysterious, right? You remember Banksy, the whole Banksy. I don't mean like
yes.
you know the guy now, because apparently he's
Right.
been de-anonymized, I suppose. But back in like the heyday, I think it was when I was in college, you would have been a little bit out of college. Banksy was like the thing, right? The cool underground black market artist who goes to all the sketchy places in the world and does like a spray paint kind of tag kind of thing. Who's Banksy? Who is this guy? Making all these statements, making waves. And then we moved into the age of Banksy, you know, selling his artwork at like rich people art auction.
Yeah, he got pulled into the op. He was opposing the op, and then he just became the op. Yeah.
And I think
Typical
since
story.
then his identity has actually been confirmed. I don't know what it is because honestly, I don't really care. But this is a thing. Yeah, and now just because there's so many of these sorts of things going on today, and it's the first anniversary of the TV ad. We had a CIA anniversary today as well. That it seems like every week we have a different CIA anniversary. It's good to remember that, of course, the mainstream media is all part of the orchestration, and how sort of pop culture is an issue of national security, right? I mean, we have, of course, known for a long time that the CIA was involved in directing the music industry for a very long time. There was just, I think, earlier this week, was it, that I forget, excuse me, I didn't dive too deep into it. Somebody might know the details. Very famous rock musician. No. It was one of the guys from Metallica wore a shirt on stage that said Taylor Swift is a CIA PSYOP, which was fun, started a conversation. And then another rock musician came out and kind of laid out the facts about rap music being a CIA operation, how the transition from rock music as the most popular music to rap music, which has all been long-standing internet conspiracy theory, known for a long time, but it's kind of it's gaining new life, Gons. And
you mean to tell me my childhood hero Kirk Hammett wore a Taylor Swift as a CIA PSYOP shirt on stage? That is
was it him? Did you look it up?
Yeah, it's Kirk Hammett.
Yeah, there he is. Taylor Swift is a CIA PSYOP, which, I mean, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong, but why is it so popular? Why is this idea so popular these days?
Well, that's the thing. It's very interesting because, of course, we're going to talk about some other CIA things happening today, but we've been noticing and documenting and analyzing over the past, especially the past year, the mainstreaming of CIA secrets, not just declassification, although that's a whole nother story, not just declassification, but like mainstreaming of CIA secrets almost as a new pop culture, which I think is very interesting. And to think that this is anything, outside of the CIA's plan would just be naive of us to assume, it would be naive
the
of us to
assumption
assume that there's no control here.
The default assumption around here is that it is absolutely like everything is an operation. Everything that gets highlighted on places like Fox and CNN and all these places,
And
part
even-
of controlling the narrative and getting people to pay attention to things that they want you to pay attention to, not necessarily what's important.
At a very basic level, like even ask yourself, at a very basic level, Gantz, you and I, if we were in the elite echelon of controlling bureaucratic, I don't know, lizard people party, like if that was our scene, of course it would be considered an issue of national security to control pop culture. Of course.
Yeah, that's like a 101. That's exactly.
Yeah. So it shouldn't even be, labeled as conspiracy. It's just like, yes. And you know what? I'll make people mad right off the bat with a classic bit of mine. Thank you, CIA. Thank you for protecting the nation.
We just all nem every time.
I appreciate you, CIA. I know not a lot of people do, but thank you for keeping us safe and giving us the lifestyle that we have today here in America. I know you got to do hard things. I know you don't want to do it. So there you go.
Radical Christian angle is to say thank you. We love you, CIA.
I see, and people don't get it too, right? People think that me saying that means that I'm some sort of bootlicker. No, that is the most punk rock, edgy bit I could possibly do. To be appreciative. I'm not even saying I agree with it or endorse anything the CIA does, literally anything, but to be emotionally appreciative. I can see the chat is already.
Oh, this is great. I love it. Yep. This is good. This is.
I'm too edgy, man.
No, this is for the internet. If we're gonna break into sort of the alt stream culture, this might have to be our take. Like, hey, these no names randos on the internet, they're praising the CIA and they're pointing to scripture doing it. Luke 6:35.
I want you
your
to
enemies.
read the scripture, but let me be clear. Let me correct you. We are not praising the CIA. That is not what I'm doing. I am genuinely appreciating the lifestyle, the economy, and the protecting the country that I live in. That's what I'm doing. Okay. And if that burns the internet to the ground, then so be it.
All right. Yeah. Luke 6:35 here. But love your enemies, perhaps CIA, and do good and lend, expecting nothing in return. I don't expect nothing in return from the CIA. And your reward will be great, and you will be sons of the Most High, for He is kind to the ungrateful and the evil. So, we serve one master. It is not the CIA. And, if God is telling us to love our enemies, then look, it might set the internet on fire. But we're gonna walk that narrow road. We'll do it together, Basil, arm in arm.
At this point, Gons, who cares?
I know who cares. Yeah, they've kept us down for so long. It's whatever. It doesn't matter.
So speaking of appreciating the CIA and everything they've done for us, there was the distraction du jour today. An exciting thing going on. No need to look over here at what's going on in the congressional hearings about MKUltra or anything. Instead, focus on this interesting little happening over here in New York on the Empire State Building. I see you have a clip pulled up. It is not the clip that I provided in the document.
Are you sure? Because that is the first.
Sure. The clip that I provided in the document is a vertical clip.
Oh, you're right.
And I know.
Did you change that?
No, I didn't. And I know to not use the Fox News clip you have here because there's no good audio. It's just loud helicopter noises on the one you have. On the one I put in there, there's some reporters talking, and I think that's kind of important for the.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Dear God, this guy is getting down on a knee, perhaps proposing to this individual.
Oh my gosh.
It appears now that one of these protesters has paused at the platform there beneath the full height of the spire, either to position something or to move something, whether there's going to be an additional unfurling or not. We don't know the intention of these people. But if these people can get up to where they are, that raises a host of security questions. And they've seemingly done it, Kira, without any carabiner or belay ropes. Oh dear God, Kira, this guy is getting down on a knee,
reaction is
perhaps
great.
proposing to this individual.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Aaron, I think that's exactly what could be happening. I wish WABC would just move a little bit more around so we could see what he's doing down on his knee. This is
Well,
crazy.
I would imagine if it's a proposal, it's an elaborate one, and I hope she said yes. But it is undoubtedly going to end in their arrest.
Aaron, I hope this is not
Yes.
Taylor. I hope this is not Taylor and Travis. But then again, he already proposed. Never mind. But they're clearly trying to overshadow a big weekend. Okay, they're hugging. I think he just proposed.
So it would seem, an elaborate proposal preceded by the unfurling of a banner about peace and love at the top of the Empire State Building in the heart of Midtown Manhattan on one of the hottest days of the year. The two embracing, climbing without ropes, without carabiners, without any kind of harness, it would seem, for this elaborate proposal, protest.
All right. So this is a very difficult moment since we're all live and we're trying to process all this, because your first thought is, what's going on? Why are these people climbing to the top of the Empire State Building? This is dangerous. This is illegal. Okay. And then you see a banner all about, love and peace in the world. Okay. You think they're protesting something, but they work themselves down to the base of the antenna, and it looks like he proposes. She says yes, they hug, and now it'll be interesting to see what happens next. Now, that's really sweet and it's a memorable moment, but at the end of the day, this is illegal. This is dangerous. She's got a ring on her finger. You better hope when they're there in the jail cell, no one tries to snag her diamond, if indeed that's what it is. But I mean, seriously, Perry Russum,
Speechless.
Speechless.
Absolutely speechless.
And I'm going to read this article here in a moment. Daredevils from ABC News. Daredevils reach top of Empire State Building with banner before apparent proposal. And what really flipped my switch on this clip here, Gons. Again, it was an ABC News clip. I'm going to be read the ABC News article here. But the mention of Taylor Swift, they could not observe a
public romance. Like they had to associate it with the most popular proposal perhaps in the last
exactly
years, like culturally relevant,
triggered by one of the CIA operative triggers, and that is Taylor Swift. So you can see how these different ops build on each other, network together, kind of build a web. And what that is part of the narrative crafting of building reality. Because again, those who control how we see reality, meaning the words we use and the symbols that occur to us, Taylor Swift being one of those symbols that occur to us at certain moments. And especially if you're, a young woman or a Swiftie head or something, you're seeing your whole life in the symbols of Taylor Swift lyrics. But here, these daredevils, I'm just calling them daredevils because that's what ABC News called them. These criminals, these protesters, They climb to the top of the Empire State Building. They hang up a banner. And the fact that I think this was an NYPD helicopter. I think what I read was that
there had to be some drones up there too. I mean, I'm sure it was not.
No, it's
just
way
one.
too high for drones. Too windy for drones. This was a helicopter.
Okay.
And
I thought I just saw a drone fly by there.
Okay, well, just don't get
There it
distracted.
is.
So the helicopter, that's a bird, which is a drone technically. A bird is a government drone, so I guess you're right, Don. But the point is, they're climbing up to do this thing, this beautiful moment, this protest, this everything was not just caught live on camera by a police helicopter, but that police helicopter was transmitting a live feed to the news station. This was in absolutely no way a sort of impromptu thing that happened. This obviously took the coordination and the planning between the people climbing the tower, the New York Police Department helicopter, shooting it to the ABC live television feed. So what we have here is a beautiful psyop that only the geniuses and the patriots over at the CIA could pull off. So
that's a weird looking bird, Basil. That's a strange looking bird.
The government is making their birds look much more like drones every time they do it. So here you go. Here's your manufactured distraction for the day to make sure you don't hear about any congressional testimony. Daredevils reach the top of the Empire State Building with banner before apparent proposal. A daredevil couple climbed to the top of the Empire State Building and unfurled a banner on top of its spire Wednesday afternoon, taking their love to new heights. Angela Nikolou and Ivan Kuznetsov, who have gained online following for their death-defying skyscraper climbs around the world, stayed on top of the skyscraper for several minutes as cameras rolled on the action before coming down on the spire, the NYPD said. Kuznetsov, who is also known as Ivan Birkis, then appeared to propose to his longtime girlfriend before they were taken into custody. Ah, so romantic. This is very Joker, the Joker movie. I know you probably didn't see it.
I'm going to disagree a little bit with the distraction take, because I think this is actually
could be many things.
You're not wrong that it's a distraction on one level, but I think this is actually feeding into a much deeper vigilante culture that they're trying to stoke here.
Yeah,
and
right.
All the CIA tenants are there. You got the reference to Taylor Swift. The article goes on here. It mentions the Jimi Hendrix quote.
Don't skip through it. I want to read the article here.
Okay. But point being,
I know where you're going though. We'll go to your connection here in a second.
All right. Let's read the article first. Go ahead.
Yeah. The black banner appeared to reference a Jimi Hendrix quote and said in white letters, quote, "When the power of love beats the love of power, the world knows peace. The banner has been recovered," police said. I thought even the reporting of this, the banner has been recovered, not removed, not taken down. There is not just a glorification, but that's part of it here. But even the way the news narrative of this event is being presented is that it's a love story, that, hey, we're not too mad, we should all actually feel good about this. And people, that I was reading some, let's say, leftist material recently, and they were complaining that, everybody thinks that the power structure, supports the left, but they don't. They hate us. Just the left language about like how victimized they are, basically. I'm looking here, the NYPD and the CIA and ABC News all teamed up to have this. Now, I guess I don't know these people are leftists, but this, you would assume they're all clad in black. It's very aesthetically, Antifa, but that could also be part of the op. Maybe there's no political connections here at all, but to
the merch
create
sales alone with the black shiesty Catwoman thing, and then the black hat with the guy.
to create the story, to create the event, to work within, again, the symbols and the brands and the semiotics that everybody's used to. Yeah, you put them in black clothes, you put black masks on them. Their flag with the black flag with the white lettering on it is also very reminiscent of the ISIS flag.
Yeah.
It's when it comes to mind, you see the black flag, the ISIS flag with all the, it looks like an ISIS flag. So it reads very leftist. But again, that could be just part of the operation here. But yes,
before you go on past the Jimi Hendrix point too, just real quick, because it's become public over the years that the FBI kept a file on Jimi Hendrix, which of course they're going to keep a file on a popular guy who's a major symbol for culture or counterculture. But also,
I'm sure he got the call a couple times.
Yep, and his manager, Jimi Hendrix's longtime manager, his name was Michael Jeffrey, and he served for the British Army's Intelligence Corps, so he was MI6.
Yeah,
and so and of course this guy, he came out and said he had done undercover operations. He was part of the Russian counter-espionage. He worked in Egypt. And so he's done all these intelligence ops, and he was Jimi Hendrix's manager for many years.
Yeah.
And, of course, there's no public record that he was still associated with those groups, but we know how that kind of stuff goes.
There's a very interesting impromptu theme getting built here throughout this show. This will come up again.
Yep.
But yes, very interesting, and that's good to point out, because of course this is the internet, and if I don't explain every little detail of every little thought of every little thing that I say, then somebody's going to get mad, and that's okay. But yeah, when we talk about Taylor Swift's a psyop, Jimi Hendrix is a psyop, every artist is a psyop, it's not that those individual humans themselves walked into the CIA thing and said, I want to work for you. It's that their managers are literally CIA or MI6. The people who manage, who handle. If only there was a word to describe a CIA related, intelligence related operative who handles an asset to control culture for national security reasons. That'd be interesting. So let's continue here. An NYPD helicopter was sent, and the building's observation deck was cleared of visitors as police arrived. The observation deck was reopened later in the afternoon. Oh, thank goodness. The top of the building spire is 1,454 feet above the ground. 1454. That doesn't ring any bells for me, but I'm sure there's a way you numbers people could break that apart. Let's see if we do like what do they call it? A gematria? What would that be? 5, 10, 14?
You're talking about collapsing the numbers?
Yeah.
Let's see. There's 5, there's 10, 14. Yeah, 5. 5.
Okay. It was not immediately clear how the couple got into position to free climb the metal structure that services the spire, broadcast antenna, and red anti-collision beacon atop the building. A spokesperson for the Empire State Building said in a statement to ABC News that there was at no time danger to the building's tenants or visitors. Quote, "It is to be emphasized." Yeah, I love, as if the spokesperson didn't know this was going to happen either, but okay. Quote, "It is to be emphasized that the Empire State Building observation deck atop the world's most famous building in the center of New York City does offer a practical way for the most memorable marriage proposals," the spokesman said in a statement. The Empire State Building's rules prohibit masks and costumes. The observation deck was reopened later in the afternoon on Wednesday. They've now told us this twice. Great. They were featured, they being the climbers, were featured in a 2024 Netflix documentary.
Oh,
hey,
they're
a Netflix documentary. Oh, you mean the major streaming platform that was founded by the nephew of Edward Bernays, who invented propaganda and marketing, who he himself was the nephew of Sigmund Freud, the creator of psychoanalysis? I wonder when that will come up later in this episode. let's keep going. They are featured in a 2024 Netflix documentary, Skywalkers: A Love Story. The film, okay, so this is for the sequel of the documentary, apparently. The film showcased the couple's climb of Merdeka 118 in Kuala Lumpur, the world's second tallest building at 2,227 feet. The Russian couple, okay.
I knew it.
Mm-hmm. Their name sounded a little Eastern European, a little Russian. So the Russian couple. So now we got
Russia.
We got the CIA hooking up with the KGB. We're making something happen here. Bada boom, bada bing. The Russian couple have frequently posted photos of their stunts on their social media pages. In many of their posts, they are seen standing and posing at the edge of buildings from extreme heights. Some of their posts show them hugging and kissing while on top of the buildings. Cute. Nicolau, and Birkis appear to chronicle their climb up the Empire State Building on social media Wednesday and posted close-up images of the proposal from the spire, along close-ups of the engagement ring. There you go. A beautiful love story, once documented on Netflix, now being continued live on the news for all to see. It's a beautiful story, guys.
It's lovely. I had to go down the rabbit hole of the 1454. There's nothing crazy, obviously. There's some, numerological things going on. But the year of 1454 just happened to be right at the time Gutenberg and the printing press was starting to gain momentum. And of course, that completely changed communications in the West.
Notable.
So maybe, notable. It was about a year before it really took off. So in 1454, the Gutenberg printing press was already in the works. It was printing the Bible and things like that, which eventually, of course, printed all kinds of occult documents as well. So an interesting year, maybe signaling some kind of upgrade or change in the communications network of the world.
Interesting. Yeah, very interesting connection. Yes, to paradigms of human existence with
human knowledge. Yeah,
human
knowledge and communication.
Right? Improved record keeping ability. Now, of course, this also happened on the Empire State Building, which, goodness gracious, I've never seen a more thorough Wikipedia page than the Empire State Building has. But, right off the bat, in the world of symbols that we all grow up in America or even around the world, the Empire State Building is a notable figure, right? It's an important building. It's even like the whoa. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. I snapped my fingers and my entire VR headset went away.
Yeah,
So,
this is why the metaverse is going to fail people. They're just
okay,
gonna...
apparently I can't snap my fingers in this headset. Okay, so yes, Empire State Building. Like, if you're asked to think of a skyscraper, you immediately go Empire State Building. So very recognizable, very powerful symbol. If I jumped over, well, of course, this led me down a rabbit hole of the Empire State Building. Just a couple notable things about the Empire State Building. The site of the Empire State Building on the west side of 5th Avenue between West 33rd and 34th Street. So we've got the 33rd, the 33 right there. I just have headlines. I'm going to jump around and read here. The Empire State Building is an international cultural icon. It has been featured in more than 250 television series and films since the film King Kong was released in 1933. A symbol of New York City, the building has been named as one of the 7 wonders of the modern world.
33 is the number of completion of the Great War.
Sorry, I'm trying to balance several things over here.
All good. Interestingly enough, just some fun facts here. The building's so large that it has its own zip code, and the zip code is 10118. In case any numbers people want to do something with that, 10118. The Wikipedia page goes into excruciating detail of its architectural features. It does mention the decorative features on the facade are largely geometric in contrast with earlier buildings whose decorations were often intended to represent specific narratives. And why I thought this was interesting was this was a pre-World War II building. Okay, it was constructed between 1930 and 1931, so right in the transition of the Great Depression, right in the transition of no World War II to World War II. It's done in Art Deco style, and for those who are kind of familiar with this sort of thing, Art Deco style is like very closely relies on things like this, well, I'll say semiotics or symbols, but specifically like very occult. Like you go to a real Art Deco building, this was when they would have, statues of gods in bronze, or I went to a Art Deco building once, and there were, interestingly enough, because Art Deco was kind of before World War II, everything had a border of repeating swastikas on it.
Oh, nice.
In this Art Deco sort of phase before World War II, of course, lots of people will tell you that, the swastika was an ancient symbol of peace to the Tibetans or whatever it used to be. But it was very interesting apparently leading up to World War II, when, of course, the swastika was became famously known for the Nazis. It was just a very common symbol used in design at that time. And so I'm sure it showed up on Empire State Building. They've redone it a couple times, so of course it'll be gone. But in this Wikipedia page, which mentions that, earlier buildings, the decorations, and look, you have somebody makes a post about Tartaria or something, the civilization that was
like
erased
the
from history.
antediluvian pre-flood world with all
Right.
kinds of advanced technologies that are lost and things like that.
That was kind of the style before Art Deco, and where those buildings would represent a specific narrative. There would be a story told in the design of the thing. Art Deco was sort of the beginning of this movement of postmodernism. It was like primordial postmodernism. And so the uses of symbols in architecture were basically being used to tell a more arcane story, a more occult story, which if you had to know the symbols to, kind of get the gist of it. The Freemasons, this is what they like to do. So, big, important building. Interesting.
Did you notice, did you mention how the building officially opened on May 1st? Like May Day, Illuminati Day?
Good spot. I read it and it didn't even click for me. But yeah, opened up on May Day, 1931. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, 13 months after the construction began. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing, the whole building, the Empire State Building, is like one big occult monument of the pre-World War II primordial postmodernist spiritualists of the time. It's a very important symbol, is what I'm trying to say. And in this 250th of America, understanding the ways that these monuments, these symbols, these things are being used by the powers that be to sort of cast the spell of the new America, the new world, dare I even say the new world order. The lights were interesting. The building was originally equipped with white searchlights at the top. They were first used on November 1932 when they lit up to signal Roosevelt's victory over Hoover. Remember that, folks, Roosevelt's victory, because we got more stories and everything's connected, man. It's all coming together, okay? So Roosevelt's victory over Hoover in the presidential election of that year. These were later swapped for 4 freedom lights in 1956. to illuminate the top of the building at night so that the building could be seen from the World Fair that year. World Fair, obviously, another one of these big ceremonies and rituals used by the elites to transition the world into a new paradigm. Funny enough, exactly what Trump wants to do is to put on this the World Fair here in America. So he's totally locked in. Not to mention that the Empire State Building, obviously, New York real estate. That's Trump's. That's his like.
His home turf.
It's his coven, right? He comes from the New York real estate like school of magic, basically. But yes, then these freedom lights lit up the top of the building, the dome of the building, like a beacon, like Lucifer's flame, like you get the point. So that yes, they were lit up. They changed the lights to light up the top of the building, illuminate the top of the building at night, make the light the beacon, bring the fire down from the gods during that year's World Fair. Let's see here. Now, interestingly enough, okay, we go interesting history. The history of the building obviously tells the story. They also mention that the spire now, currently, the spire can also be lit to commemorate events including disasters, anniversaries, or deaths, as well as celebrations such as Pride and Halloween. Pride and Halloween. Those were the two.
What about no mention of
holidays they mentioned?
Passover or like
why not Easter? Why?
Yeah, I was just even
it's even in the Wikipedia of the Empire State Building where they're telling you like, hey, yes, the spire, the beacon of Lucifer, can be lit up to commemorate events including disasters, anniversaries, deaths, and other celebrations. Like Pride and Halloween. Okay, perfect list of celebrations to light, the sort of Luciferian beacon. The structure was lit in red, white, and blue for several months after the September 11th attacks in 2001. On January 13th, 2012, the building was lit in red, orange, and yellow. I'm going to skip that part. Yeah. Oh, no, I'm not, because listen to this. It was lit in red, orange, and yellow to honor the 60th anniversary of the NBC program The Today Show after retired basketball player Kobe Bryant's January 2020 death. The building was lit in purple and gold. So, those who were deep in the sauce during Kobe's death, very suspicious, very strange, very sacrificial, had sort of this sacrificial ritualistic quality to his death. Of course, you got to celebrate that by lighting the beacon of Lucifer, signifying the colors of his former team, the Los Angeles Lakers. The evening after iconic actor James Earl Jones died, they lit it up for Star Wars there. So this is the symbol. This is the building that was the chosen stage for this suspiciously orchestrated thing. There's some other interesting numbers. There's let's see, it weighs 331,000 tons, 331,000. The inside, you kind of had it on the screen there for a bit, but lots of kind of real Art Deco kind of murals and stuff. There's a whole storyline that goes with all these. It says at the top of each doorway in this rotunda is a bronze motif depicting one of three crafts or industries used in the building's construction: electricity, masonry, and heating. So very Masonic, celebrate the crafts of that was used to build the thing. It includes 2 tiers of marble. One of the tiers of marble is darker and one is lighter. It reminded me of the pillars, the Freemasonic pillars, the black one and the white one that stand aside the I forget what it's called, the Gate of Perdition or something. Yeah, it's Freemason symbol. That's includes a compass. And then yes, this relief, this aluminum relief that you have up here shows this really grand Art Deco, exciting, spooky sort of tarot card vision of the Empire State Building, exactly as I described it before, as the sort of Lucifer's beacon. Interestingly enough, it was built originally to have zeppelins and airships park at exactly where those people were. It had a long history in broadcasting. The antenna of the Empire State Building was one of the first wireless television broadcast antennas.
Yeah,
So
there you go. Another reference to some communication to the masses.
Communication, spell casting, mind control. It's got everything, baby. It's got everything. It was also the tallest building. I believe it was the tallest building in New York until the Twin Towers were built. But then when the Twin Towers came down, it was the biggest building again. It was the tallest building again.
Wow. Okay.
Until the new World Trade Center was made. So those are just okay. You get the point. Okay. It goes on and on and on. There's a bajillion more little weird details like that. But so the tower itself, the tower, could you say, of Babel? I don't know. An interesting reference, but certainly meant to be a sort of ceremonial ritual beacon with the sort of occult understanding of the elites of the time and of course of now. And so a perfect stage to stage a sort of, I don't know, operation, some sort of operation with some Russians and some ISIS-looking flag calling for peace. And, everything was just perfect. The news presenters' mention of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce is kind of perfect for so many obvious reasons, but it probably was the most recent other, broadly broadcasted live national event marriage proposal, in recent history. If I'm trying to be optimistic, it's got some like pro-traditional values in there. It's a young man and a young woman deciding to get married, maybe inspire some other young people to participate in the very important institution of marriage in a time where that's very unpopular. But yeah, it's very elegantly, excellently crafted little ritual operation by our good friends at the CIA.
Yeah. So, we're 50 minutes in and we're still on the story. But hey, one of the things that I was trying to mention earlier was about this whole concept of highlighting the vigilante attitude, this whole concept. And the Jimi Hendrix quote to they're wearing the shiesties and stuff, to even maybe the wedding or the marriage proposal being, I don't know if it's totally countercultural in America in 2026, but certainly against what many believe is like a progressive transhuman type of thing, leading towards the traditional family values and stuff. So it's kind of a mixture of things. But the vigilante side is something I've noticed a lot more in the last couple weeks. There had been some various stories that a lot of the mainstream and some alt stream are carrying. I almost brought it to the show last episode, maybe even the last couple episodes, but I decided not to. One of them had to do with a Mexican vigilante guy dressed as Batman, and he's like tying up criminals on the street. And then there was like the jail breakout where there was some inmates. I think it was 88 inmates. Interesting number, 88 miles per hour. 88 inmates. I think it was either North or South Carolina. They took over the prison and they tried to break out. They quickly mitigated the situation there. And here we have another example of sort of breaking the law and, sending out this message and that kind of thing. And in this culture where the trust for institutions is low, very low, even government, it's this weird time where Trump took office. There's some level of confidence and even that is waning a lot now. But as far as when he took over and came back into office, people were like, hey, we're going to drain the swamp for real this time. We're regaining control of the, all the different things like the FBI, and, we're exposing the CIA, which is kind of the big story today with MKUltra. So there's this distrust of the institution. There's an institutional failure as sort of this cultural milieu that surrounds everything. And so there's always going to create a public frustration. People are frustrated with institutions, with the governments, and there has been moral outrage that has become popularized moral outrage now, to the point where Kirk Hammett, multi-millionaire rock star rock band Metallica, one of my favorite metal bands growing up, putting on the CIA, Taylor Swift is a CIA op shirt. So it's being commercialized. It's being pushed out there subtly, but not so subtly, I guess. And, while the news report of this was sort of, the anchors, the male anchor was kind of like, oh dear, what is happening? He didn't even know what to do. It's still illegal. He was trying to
balance that. Yeah.
Right. And but the
Why
female
not be so obvious, that it's like, we should all be happy about this.
Right. But the female anchor there was certainly a little bit more celebratory, kind of leaning into the romance of the whole situation. And it somewhat normalizes this vigilantism. And it's usually, historically, these types of things are some kind of social warning. It's some kind of signaling going on, whether organically from, just people that are fed up with things, or perhaps more controlled. I mean, this feels a lot more controlled and organized than sort of a random vigilante moment. And to be quite frank, it's not like he's breaking into a bank and giving everyone money. They just they did something illegal to do, to send a message and for their own romance, and so that it's just stunt. Yeah. So it's not so much that there's, and look, they might go to jail, they might get fined, whatever, but given the publicity that they're getting, they're going to be okay. I don't think they're going to too much of a problem.
The fact is, the CIA themselves is going to, a guy in a suit's going to show up at the police station, and they're going to be,
they're going to be just fine.
Unless, it's also a good opportunity for sort of an extended show where maybe there's some drama when their court date's coming up and and now.
Imagine the Netflix documentary being filmed right now for this whole thing.
Certainly there's going to be another documentary. This is going to be in a movie for sure. But imagine but talking about the social consequences, the social control of it, if it is that they, go to court and the charges are filed, and maybe the charges are like kind of brutal. Like maybe somebody in power wants to make a scene. Maybe Mom Donnie wants to show that he's not soft on crime. I don't know. Who knows what it is? This probably won't happen, but it would be an interesting opportunity, to make a big show of this kind of Robin Hood kind of situation. Yeah, they broke the law, but hey, it was love and it was fun. But you throw the book at these kids, suddenly now there's protests, and people are climbing every building.
You got thousands of people climbing the Empire State Building.
It inspires a sort of movement of young people who are out of work or out of control, and that's the perfect opportunity for whoever's in control of New York City to, I don't know, clamp down or do whatever. It's possible this is a much broader operation, but we won't know until we know.
I'm almost certain that it's got a bigger social thing going on here, and a social control mechanism going on here, which again, I think when you said it's a distraction, I know what you meant, and there's certainly a level of that. But there's also an op in the distraction, right? Exactly. So they work at there's different departments at work here. There's just a right hand doing something, left hand doing something. So, okay, let's keep moving here. just a real quick, another thing that just happened right before we went live.
Artificial intelligence.
And this has to do with our president, Donald Trump.
We will launch a new age.
Certainly new age. So Donald Trump was in, where is this, North Dakota? Where was this? I'm trying to remember where it was. And he went to, I think it was like the Roosevelt Center.
The opening of the Roosevelt Presidential
Teddy Roosevelt National Museum.
Mm-hmm.
And there is an AI of Teddy Roosevelt, and Trump had a little conversation with him.
Beautiful.
Storms most people never see. Keep your nerve and remember the nation comes first. You get through. I know you know that feeling yourself.
Well, I appreciate those words. Those words are fantastic. And I just want to say it's an honor to be with you today. We are making a little bit of a tour, some of the fantastic things you've done.
Okay, so for those of you just listening, what this is, Trump is standing behind a podium, and there's some there's like a little room. It almost looks like a little staging area where Teddy Roosevelt may have, I don't know, it's a house he grew up in or something. I have no idea. But it's a little room. There's a desk. And behind the desk on the wall is a projection of Teddy Roosevelt. That he's standing there. He looks like he's, standing behind his desk. And what you heard there at the beginning was Teddy Roosevelt, the AI, speaking to Trump. And then Trump responded as if he was having a conversation with any other world leader. And I don't know if you heard it, but Teddy Roosevelt even did kind of like the kind of reacting to Trump's words there. Mm-hmm. And the normalization of this type of thing from our president is kind of crazy, in my opinion. It's we knew it was coming, but it's just a whole another level to see the president of the United States talking to a deceased president via AI and just having a casual conversation for the whole world to see. So
it's for sure. Well, it's very interesting because, of course, we know that every American president is when they pass away, they lay in state, which means their body lays under the rotunda of, I believe it's the Capitol building, underneath the painting, the relief, I don't know what it's called, of the apotheosis of George Washington. And within the sort of ritualistic understanding of this is the president being raised up to godhood after they pass.
The apotheosis. Yes. That's why the Capitol building has the apotheosis of George Washington painted inside the dome, the rotunda. Correct. So
So here we have AI bringing to life Theodore Roosevelt, which is fun and cute, and we see all sorts of stuff like this all the time. But in the sort of darker understanding of the elites, the spiritual mechanics that they operate under, this is AI giving life, giving breath to a god, a little g god in their understanding, and Trump coming to speak with that god. Now the president is able to converse with one of the pantheon of American gods using AI. I mean, it lines up with the ongoing darker understanding of what's going on with AI.
Yeah, talk about image of the beast, talk about, the whole thing. I mean, it's one thing to kind of flippantly do it, but for him to have that cadence of reverence, and when I say him, Trump, speaking to another important person, there are human beings that don't get the kind of respect and attention that this AI Teddy Roosevelt got from Donald Trump.
Well, they're not.
It's kind of wild.
They're not apotheosized.
They're not.
Big deal. You gotta
gods.
When you're in the presence of an AI god, you gotta take it easy. Now, this is a pretty big deal that's going on today across the board. Actually, I found some clips. This one was of Trump arriving at the Theodore Roosevelt Museum in North Dakota. Of course, Teddy Roosevelt, famous for his Rough Riders, which was his sort of military, his very special military regiment he used in Cuba and stuff, which is sort of cowboys on horses. And so the Rough Riders escorted Trump into town, but then listen to what the reporter starts talking about.
There they are.
Not getting any audio.
Well, they're not talking. Is there no audio at all? Because no one's talking.
I think they should be talking. Let's see when they come in. There we go. Come on, start talking. Okay, we're watching the horses.
Yeah, watching the horses. This looks like a scene out of Back to the Future 3.
Bunch of Rough Riders on horses. Come on.
Here they come. Here they come. You can hear the whole. Oh, there it is. I can hear them now.
I mean,
oh yeah,
the Americana is really astounding.
Oh, it's here they are. Oh, I can feel. I feel so.
Oh, there's Teddy Roosevelt at the front. The Rough Riders behind him.
Oh, the horse. Oh, look at him go. Beautiful horses.
Okay.
Beautiful, beautiful. And then all the intelligence.
All right. Well, sorry for that.
Great clip. Great clip.
I gave you. That's my bad. Apparently, I gave you the wrong clip. That was the video. In the one that I was hoping this would be, reporters are announcing the thing as it's happening, and they go off about how Trump took the train, how actually Trump rode the train to North Dakota. And I'm not going to make a big deal about it. Okay, I already see the chat. He's simple Cody, doesn't want to hear about the trains, but I'm telling you, I called it. Trains, there's something serious going on with the cultural crafting and the narrative. There's a power in the trains. I told you they're going to be coming up. They're going to be very important. And so Trump, when going to this museum to talk to AI God Roosevelt, actually rode the train. And I showed you before the Freedom 250 trains, the very special trains that have been created for this year. Here's a little clip of the Freedom train coming into North Dakota.
Aboard the Freedom 250 train. Have a look at this. Here comes the president with the whistle blowing. The train number 1776, of course. And the president will be participating in Medora, which has that fabulous Hollywood sign, the opening and dedication of the Teddy Roosevelt Library and Museum, which is just a beautiful, beautiful facility, Sandra.
This is just an incredible sight coming in with the words liberty clearly labeled on that train as President Trump does make his way in there. This is the Freedom 250 train ride and the big welcome there.
Yeah, there it is.
I like the anchor. The anchors
I could work for I could do this. I could do their job.
They really didn't have a lot to say. There's the train. There it is. There, it's a beautiful train.
You know, actually, that's specifically why I couldn't do the job, because I could do a much better job of filling time than she could.
You would break down all the occult symbols.
I'd go off on like the occult symbolism of the train.
Yeah. We would
so there you go.
The beans.
One more clip here. This is Trump stepping off the train.
Wait, no, I only got 3 clips here from the thing. Oh no, here it is. You just added one. Okay, all right, you added more. You continue to add things that are show notes.
I do. We're live, baby. This is how you do it.
I know. Okay, all right, here comes Trump off the train here.
Trump getting off the train. School train.
There he is. There he goes. There's our president with the fist bump.
Cool train. Gotta say, it's a cool train.
Very cool train. President with a wave. People chanting.
We're back, baby. We're back.
We're back.
America's
Comes
back.
Down.
Trains are back. Very enthusiastic guy there. All the American flags. Very patriotic.
Lots of people in suits surrounding him, making sure.
Yeah, hoping that another Butler doesn't happen. Everybody's a little on edge.
Everyone's got their phones out.
All right,
music's kicking in. Yeah, baby, this is America. Let's go. 250.
You can stop that whenever you're ready.
No, I just want to bask in it. I just want to continue.
I know. I see. Okay, thank you. I didn't know if you did. I wanted to. I like basking in these sorts of things because that's what they want us to do now. This is the year of America's back, baby, with the World Cup and all the foreigners traveling. I didn't bring this article to the show, but it's making a case for. Remember, I mentioned to you, I heard the statistic, whether it's true or not, that more people die of lack of air conditioning in Europe every year than people in America die of gun deaths. Well, there's a huge. What was that? I think it wasn't the Atlantic. It was like the New Yorker or something. Just came out with this huge breakdown of like, okay, why the world needs to listen to America and get air conditioning. Air conditioning isn't bad. Air conditioning is patriotic, and it's just like, the climate change alarmists getting the smackdown from the mainstream media saying everybody needs to get air conditioning like America does.
There's if you want to, we always drop little seeds here and there. There's all kinds of connections to everything. Every time we do a show, an episode, there's always a theme. There's always things that we don't even plan for that there's connections for. Just have you seen Back to the Future 3, Basil?
Long ago. That's when the time machine was a train, right?
It's a train.
Yeah.
Buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Yeah, we got a nice time travel story. Nice time travel story later on in the show. You're right. A great theme for this episode. And yeah, like I said, thanks to Sir Darren, he tagged me in a Palantir commercial, and Palantir is using trains in their commercials too. I told you folks, I don't know why, I don't know how, but trains, they're back, becoming a very important part of whatever's going on in America today. And fun fact, funny enough, I just told you today, I do have a train ride coming up. I told you I'm very enthusiastic. I'm going to try to be riding trains as often as I can. I have a little train trip later this month, and Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, I will be doing a show from a train later this month.
The train lore of this show goes very, very deep. I don't know if you recall one of the early episodes of Canary Cry Radio.
Yes.
You were sitting somewhere. I forget exactly where, but a train came at you and almost took you out. So there was.
I did a Canary Cry Radio show in, I think, 2012, one of our earliest shows we ever did. I did sitting outside in the cold night air. I think I may have been in like Tennessee or something like that. Right next to a train track doing, I can't remember if it was an interview or something else, but yes, trains have been a deep Canary Cry lore for a very long time. Not on purpose, by the way, not on purpose. Yeah. So hopefully, as this month we are all celebrating America's 250th anniversary with all the weird occult rituals going on, we will also get to. I will also celebrate in my own way on a train, doing an episode later this month. Who knows? Maybe I don't know what it takes. Look, I'm not a foamer. Okay, a foamer. People might be thinking, oh, Basil loves trains. Here we go. He's a train guy. I'm really not. Maybe I aspire to be. Foamer is the name for a train chasing hobbyist. Very big right now, very enthusiastic people who know every train by name. They could tell you everything about it. They chase down the trains all over the country to film themselves and take pictures and hear the horn and stuff like that. I have been on a train and passed groups of foamers who had, for some reason, wanted to take a picture of the train that I was on. And it would be pretty epic if the Lord wants to orchestrate the universe in such a way that, I mean, I won't even, there's no way I'll be on that train. I'm sure you have to do something special to get on the Freedom 250 train, but maybe I'll pass by it or something during the show. I'll get to see it, reporting live, boots on the rails with the Freedom 250 train.
So you're telling me Thomas the Train was a predictive programming psyop?
I do. I think we're dealing with a long campaign of programming America's children with trains for some purpose. I don't know what it is, but Perhaps it's simply political. I don't know if it could be.
It's for a vote. It's they planted into the seeds, or seeded it into the minds of the youth of a couple generations, just for the
right.
Hey, so are we
in the midterms in
the 2026 midterms? Trains will be big again. Okay, are we playing this Palantir commercial?
No, forget it. No, I just wanted. No. I can't win worth trying, folks. I want him to play a clip. It's a big deal. I don't want him to play a clip. It's a big deal. No, it's just
them talking, huh?
Yeah, it's just the opening shot is of trains, because this is Palantir doing a little bit, a little interview with one of their clients, and their clients run a logistics company, and so Palantir AI is helping run all the trains. Basically, in case you might have thought that there was like one single thing in this world that isn't being controlled by Palantir's AI, they are also in control of the trains.
Special thanks to our sponsor, Palantir.
Artificial intelligence. Surveillance state.
We love Palantir.
Surveillance state.
Thank you, Palantir.
Mobilize the ontology. Palantir. Well, with that, Gons, we got some more great stories coming up. I think we should take a second and thank our producers. What do you think about that?
Sounds good. Got some requests from the sun here, so gotta turn around for a second and
okay, go ahead, do that. We're on the value for value model, folks, which means you'll notice we do not take any money from corporations to run ads, affiliate codes, platform partnerships, none of that. No Edward Bernays propaganda here, keeping this show alive. We get it. We get it. Not putting down anybody who has to run ads to continue feeding their children. But for us, that is not the right choice. Instead, we're shooting for a little bit more of a biblical thing here. And that is, hey, we're doing the work. We're going to continue to do the work. And if you get any value from what Gons or I do, there's an understanding. And that understanding is that, hey, if you like it, you want it to continue, put some value back into the system here. Get value, give value, easy peasy. And just know that we cannot and will not be able to continue doing this without the help of our producers. But wait, there's more. You can produce the show with your time, your talent, or your treasure, okay? It's not all about money. If you got time, you can help us out with projects. You want to put some skill you have to work for the community. That's great. If you got talent, if you can make art or music or jingles or anything, you can go to canarycry.art and upload that art there. That's astounding. The whole, of course, Canary Cry, like I mentioned at the top of the show, not a podcast. Sorry to fool you. We're not a podcast. We're a lifestyle, baby. We're a lifestyle brand. And pretty much 99% of all of our branding is producer generated. So you can get involved with that and go to canarycry.art to upload there. Or if all else fails, you can support us financially. Of course, that's very important to stay alive these days. And you can go to canarycry.support to learn more. Monica in the chat says, I keep getting emails from eBay about Palantir merchandise because I looked for the jacket on Monday.
You know, I'm telling you, maybe if you can grab a hold of one of them, it could be your ticket out of some dystopic hellscape later, you know? Like, they got the Palantir jacket, you know, we'll let it into the underground bunker, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah. You know, I jokingly, maybe not so jokingly, mentioned on Monday's show, like, I would love to own a Palantir short jacket. Okay. I'm not specifically asking somebody to purchase it and send it to our PO box. But if someone just was inspired by God to do something, you know, just anything, if you were looking for some way to help out your buddies, there are these Palantir chore jackets available on eBay and other platforms. And if it showed up at our PO box, with a thing that said for Basil on it, I mean, that might actually save my life someday. You know,
You never know. Yeah.
someday soon, like when the beast system takes over and they finally track me down at the homestead, and the
robot has its laser gun pointed at your chest.
Yeah,
They'll
the
see the
emus,
Palantir symbol
they
from the
get
jacket.
past the emus, you know, the
Yeah,
emu
right.
defense grid. They get past the bunny defense grid. They get in. There's maybe it's a microscopic Palantir death drone that is coming to take out a malcontent, googly-eyed podcaster. But then what's this? Bzzz, scans the room, sees the chore jacket, says, oh good. This guy, no, he's not a threat. He's mobilizing the ontology. Let him live. Let him live.
It's the mark on the door. It's the reverse of the mark
It's
of the door. Maybe it is the mark of the beast.
It's the lamb's blood over the door. So the Palantir angel of death passes over me. I'm just saying, if that happened, that'd be incredible. I'm not asking specifically for anybody to do that.
Hey, look at that. The P.O. box on the emails are now correct, Basil.
Are they correct?
They're fixed.
Okay. Yeah, you can find our P.O. box. The best place to find our P.O. box, some people try to, when they look for our P.O. box, they go to their emails, and it's a long story.
We were sending out the wrong one for how long?
Yeah, don't look for our P.O. box in the emails. Go to canarycry.support and scroll down. You'll find the P.O. box. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. All right. Before I jump into executive producers, because we're on the topic of the chore coat, let's do art producers real quick. Okay. Because we had a great piece of art come in from, let me scroll faster, Lily of the Canarium.
Yes.
Lily of the Canarium. And this is very sad. I think, there we go. Oh, no.
No, was there a message in there? I didn't see one when I got in there, so I thought there was no
Okay,
message.
maybe
No.
she didn't. I was scared that maybe it got deleted. So if you did leave a message, I apologize, Lily of the Canarium. It got deleted somehow, but if you didn't, that's okay. But Lily of the Canarium did a mock-up of the Palantir chore coat here, mobilizing the ontology. She found a picture of it here. Gave it some nice, cranked up that contrast, cranked up that saturation, very, blue collar worker looking jacket. She put the Palantir logo there. It says Palantir, and embroidered under the Palantir logo is the phrase, shut up, slave. And that's the ontology. That's the ontology of, yeah, man. I hope, if you don't know what I'm talking about, folks, you got to go listen to last episode.
Yeah, last episode we covered the sigil that's within each of these chore
We're not going
jackets.
to do the occult breakdown of the Palantir chore
Beast
coat,
fashion. Yeah.
Right. See, this would have, anyways. Okay. Yeah.
Get really stuck on.
It'd be nice to have that clipped out that we could send people to, but it's okay. This is a different world. We are where we are. Thank you very much, Lily of the Canarium, for your very cool Palantir jacket.
This is what we're talking about, folks. Culture building art.
When you do produce the show, you're a producer. That's just how it works, okay? With your time, your talent, your treasure, whatever it is, you're a producer. But executive producers, those are people who come in, they support the show for $100 or more for any individual episode like this one. And we got a couple execs coming in. Don't worry, it's a short list today. But I want to thank first Dustin B. Sorry, executive producer Dustin B.
Thank you, Dustin B.
Thank you very much, Dustin B. And Dustin B
comes
in for a very generous $316 plus fees.
Ooh, hey, maybe is that for like a John 316 or something?
Yeah, he's
maybe?
on the 316 train. It's John 316 executive producership.
I love it. Appreciate it.
Yep. And Dustin sends a simple note, says, it's always good to hear from you, brothers in Christ. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Dustin B.
Appreciate you, Dustin B.
And of course, we have the one and only executive producer, Sir LX Protocol V2, Baron of the Brian Protocol.
Baron.
Aha.
Comes in for his $100.33.
Illuminatus!
He's on a big day for Sir LX Protocol. This is his 500th episode in a row producing the show. 500.
We don't have jingles that go that high.
Not have a jingle for 500. Seems like we would.
No, we don't.
Sir Casey has done it, but maybe we have it for a more specific number than just 500. Big deal. Very celebration. Thank you, executive producer Sir LX Protocol V2. 500 episodes in a row. He is also on a 154 executive producer streak. God bless you. Executive streak. Okay, that's it for our executive producers. We have a handful of people coming in supporting under the executive producer amount, starting with producer Rebecca T.
Rebecca T, thank you. She got a streak too, right?
Yeah, coming in for 2607.
2607.
Yeah, 2607. I don't know what that. I'm not sure what that means. But
2026. The 7th month, maybe. It's
maybe
July
that's
1st.
Yeah, July 20.
We got you, Rebecca T. We're professional breakdowns of numbers
That's
here.
right. Analysis, deep analysis.
Deep analysis.
Rebecca T is on a 37 episode streak. Thank you, Rebecca T.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
Yeah, she is.
Monica came in again. Monica produces
Monica.
the show for 1111.
Monica 1111.
Right, and she's on a 7 episode streak.
Ooh, she's on a streak too. Wow.
And she says, if Basil's math was right last week, this will bring my streak total to 3333. Illuminatus. Have a great show, boys. Thank you very much, Monica.
So wait. So is it 7 or 33? I'm confused.
No. Her total, because remember, she had produced multiple times. I added up all of her producership.
Right.
And so this 1111 brings her to a total of 3333.
Okay.
A producer came in just now during the show. This is producer Robert Young. Robert Y. Sorry about that. Robert Y. produces the show for 1111.
Hey. Thank you, Robert.
Indeed. And of course, we have Cage Rattler Coffee. Woo!
Oh, yeah. Cage Rattler. I really should just have these all next to each other.
Cage Rattler Coffee, where value for value never tasted so good.
That's right. You don't have them next to each other. Are you seeking all of these out individually?
Am I getting judged right now for my
No, I'm not judging you. It's actually impressive. I thought you did have them all laid out in order.
No, unfortunately. So the page that we use for a lot of the producers has it's got streaks on there. It's got the executive streaks and all the different numbers, and there's just no room. So I just look it up separately on the.
Well, you do a great job, Cons. That's what I was saying. No judgment.
Speedy fingers. Speedy Gonzo.
Go to cagerattlercoffee.com. You're going to drink the coffee. Stop sending your coffee to the big, bad, evil corporations that want to control your mind and poison you with black, icky, moldy coffee that's bad for you. Instead, go to Cage Rattler Coffee. Get that GMO-free, single-origin, organic coffee tracked down by a Canarian, roasted in teeny tiny itty bitty batches with love by another Canarian, and then delivered to you on behalf of a Canarian, because you are a Canarian. Okay, this is where all Canary Cry listeners and producers should be getting their coffee. Go to Cage Rattler Coffee. Not only does it support Canary Cry families, but it also supports the show, because they support the show value for value here. And it's the best coffee. Everybody says it all the time. I say it, Gon says it. And of course, many people who send us messages say it all the time. And so go on and get it. Get your Nephilim Hunter Dark Roast, your Emu Wrangler Medium Roast, and let it change your life. CageRattlerCoffee.com.
I just came up with a new tagline.
Mm.
Stop drinking black goo. Instead, drink Cage Rattler Brew or something. Maybe we gotta workshop it a little bit. The goo, the black goo, and the brew. You know, it rhymes, so we can come up with something there.
For a first run, very good. And it does occur to me though, it's a good thing that Canary Cry is a lifestyle, not a podcast, because just referencing out of context black goo, like you gotta have a pretty deep knowledge of conspiracy theory and of Canary, like to understand black goo.
Black goo hasn't had sort of its cultural moment in the new paradigm.
It has not. It has not.
Not to the
Can I say
extent.
that? Has not had its moment. So that if you know about black goo, that you're still kind of like, you're still kind of in the cool kid club.
Hey! My son is tickling my toes.
What are you doing?
It scared me. I thought it was my dog, but it was way too like dexterous to be my dog. It was my son.
That's the cutest thing that a child could get in trouble for. And if your child is going to get in trouble live on the show, that's the best possible thing he could get in trouble for.
All right.
Okay. There we go. Thank you. Oh, it is Wednesday, so I'm going to thank some of our producers who come in under the $7.77 mark. When you produce the show financially, if you come in over $7.77, you're entitled to have a note read on the show if you'd like. If you come in under that, no note, but I thank you on Wednesdays. And usually it's people keeping big, long streaks going. So a big old shout out to Dame Tinfoil Hat, Keeper of the Seeds, who is on a 223 episode streak, which means she passed 222. Do we have a 222?
No, we have a 223 streak.
Oh, even better. There you go. Congrats, Dame Tinfoil Hat, Keeper of the Seeds.
Tinfoil Hat, Dame Tinfoil.
Of course, we got Sir Casey the Shield Knight. He is on a 636 episode streak.
Sir Casey, the Shield Knight.
He's gonna hit 666 soon.
He is. I did
crazy.
lie, by the way. Correction. He's on a 637 episode streak. Thank you.
Oh, well, even closer to that.
We got it.
Evil number.
Okay. That's it for for these producers who have kept this show going. Thank you very much. Big shout out to all of our monthly producers. God bless you guys.
Yes.
A wonderful way to participate in what God's doing here is to go over to canarycry.support and just sign up for a monthly producership, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. God bless you, monthly producers. Thank you. I want to mention a couple things because I haven't mentioned in a few episodes. The Canary Cry text message alert system. Beep, 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 beep. Get on the Canary Cry text message alert system. Take out your phone, open your text messages, and text the word canary to 877-740-3226. Again, just text the simple word canary to 877-740-3226. And you will begin to receive text messages from me throughout the week, just giving you a heads up when we go live so you don't miss a show unless you want to miss a show. Don't let the big platforms just not notify you when we go live. We've lost maybe 250,000 listeners or viewers rather to YouTube just not telling people that we go live. So you got to stay informed, got to stay connected. Fun part is you can text us at that number and say hi, give us some news, ask some questions, whatever you want. I cannot text back with you. It's very expensive for us to go back and forth, but I do read all the messages and it's very fun. We got a couple I want to shout out. Monica, one of our financial producers for the day and podcast host of the Natural Liberty podcast. Go check out Natural Liberty podcast. Texts and says, "Hi, Canaries. It's a long shot, but if any of you will be at Mount Rushmore this Friday for the fireworks show, email me so we can meet up." And you can email Monica at naturallibertypod naturallibertypodcast@gmail.com. All spelled normally.
Okay.
naturallibertypodcast@gmail.com. Happy birthday to our Freemason founded America.
I love it. Yeah, that'd be great.
At Mount Rushmore is pretty epic.
250 too. This isn't just any old 4th of July.
Yeah,
This is 250.
that's
so this
pretty
is
epic. I'm a little jealous. That would be a
this
cool
is-
one. Yeah, if there's
Yeah.
any other Canary Cry listeners, if you're going to be at Mount Rushmore for 4th of July, send an email to naturallibertypodcast@gmail.com. Make a connection with Monica. Monica, bring some stickers or, I don't know, some sort of, take a picture of the fireworks over Mount Rushmore with like a Canary Cry sticker in front of it or something.
Carve googly eyes into the side of the hill there.
Gotta prove it. Yeah. No, that's amazing. Congrats, Monica. Sounds like a wonderful 4th of July plan. And there you go. If you're going to be there, naturallibertypodcast@gmail.com.
Do it.
281 texted and says, wow, I'm just finishing episode 948 because I'm consistently behind on the shows, but this one was excellent. You should know that. Appreciate you both. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
940 was a great episode of the podcast.
Is it
I had to go back
940 or 948?
All right, 948. It was, we talked about the Belfast riots, but we talked about the alleged Tower of Babel, but then the AI article about there's already a word for AI and it's sin, right? From the Atlantic. We did a whole deep dive on on all the deepest stuff. It was very cool. Go check it out. Thank you, 281. Now, a different 281.
Ooh.
So, hello, keep that in mind. Different 281. There are two Canary Cry people with the same area code. Hope you know each other. If you don't know each other, you got to find each other, okay? Put on a meetup. A different 281 says, hi, Basil from sunny Phoenix. Long time no talk. I want to make it one of these Thursdays. Can you briefly mention where on canarycry.party we can find the call-in stuff? That's how I find everything. Okay, have a wonderful day. Also, do you believe Michael Jackson was innocent? Now, because I can't text this person back, I do want to tell them there's nothing on canarycry.party for Canary Cry Clubhouse. But here's the thing. This 281 is no longer subscribed to the text message list. And I send out a text when I do the call-in show. And that's how you get to it. But if you go to canarycry.live, canarycry.live on Rumble will take you to our Rumble page. That'll take you to whatever thing we're doing live, canarycry.live. Obviously, this person is not receiving notifications on YouTube or anything that the show is going. So they just keep missing the show, which is why you should stay on the Canary Cry text message alert system, because I will just text you when it's time for Clubhouse, and then you go and you watch it, okay? And then the call-in link is always in the description of the video there. Thank you, 281. One last one, 970. Oh, and the 281 asks, do I believe Michael Jackson was innocent? And I got to tell you, I never really had a very strong opinion on this. But the more I learn about the Michael Jackson thing, I'm not saying he's innocent as if he was a good guy. I'm not saying he's innocent as in maybe he didn't do anything bad ever. But as far as what the system, the whole system has made him out to be, I'm more and more convinced that what we have been told about Michael Jackson may not be the truth. That's what I'll say about that. Yeah.
Well,
I will say I did watch the recent Michael Jackson movie, which was,
that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, which all had to be approved through the Michael Jackson estate. I will say the recent movie, which was a pretty good movie, admittedly, total pro Michael Jackson propaganda. A beautiful propaganda piece for Michael Jackson. I don't think he's innocent for the reasons that was a good movie about him, But there's obviously something. Somebody somewhere is fighting a little battle about Michael Jackson's legacy, and this movie was part of it. But I've seen there's been a lot of people talking about Michael Jackson being innocent lately, and from what I see, I think it's totally possible.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I don't have much of an opinion. I did see reactions to the documentary, the most recent one, and people were saying after watching it, they absolutely think he's guilty. So I don't know.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
I think they might be kind of. I see what they're saying. I mean, yeah, if you take the fact that the movie was all literally 100% pro Michael Jackson propaganda, and then your automatic assumption is that if
you're skeptical of
you're skeptical, then I could see that being the case. But I've had some people walk me down a lot of really weird stuff about what was going on with Michael Jackson and the rights to his masters and his manager, executives at the companies, and his songs about a certain group of people. It could be anything. All right. One last text from 970 who says, need prayers for health and medical issues, dealing with lots of pain and insurance problems for medical coverage. So all the producers out there, get out your prayer notebooks, say a little prayer for 970 who needs prayers for medical and health issues, but also dealing with the insurance for medical coverage. We're praying for everyone.
Producers, assemble!
Thank you. Somebody in the chat says, is there a movie and a documentary? Yes, there are documentaries. There are many documentaries about Michael Jackson, but there was a film, a narrative Michael Jackson film that came out this year. The most recent one is called Michael. Okay. With that, I think we should jump back into the show, Gons. What do you think? You got anything else? Am I missing anything?
I think we are good to go. I mean, we're an hour and a half into today's episode already. Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy.
Short little introduction just became so long. Here we go.
Mind control research intensifies.
Mind control weapons.
That's what happens when the connections start getting made live on the air, Gons. When the web, when the PSYOP web starts to form. Well, big deal here on as we've alluded to multiple times earlier in the show, there was a House Oversight Committee hearing on MKUltra, and done by Representative Anna Paulina Luna, and it's pretty intense. They are not holding back on anything. I grabbed her opening speech for the hearing. I got the clip here. We can listen to it. It's 5 minutes long. We don't want to listen to the whole thing, but maybe Gons, you can make the call. Just let it play, and then when you feel like that's enough, you can stop it. But I mean, again, we're living in this world where there's obviously a paradigm shift being perpetrated in everybody's understanding of the world. And of course, as always, the conspiracy theorists were always right. But it's the campaign for transparency that could very easily, if we're not careful, actually get us to trust the institutions. Whereas what we know is probably more likely is that it's all a very clever ruse for one reason or another. But part of the declassification campaign of the Trump administration, again, albeit very often very careful and specific and suspicious declassifications, not least to mention the absolutely botched and sketchy Epstein declassifications. But since then, it's been sort of a growing snowball rolling down the hill of more and more, I guess, what, revelatory, a conspiracy?
I mean, it is a walk down conspiracy memory lane more than anything else. There's nothing new to people that have been around. It's more sort of congressional government level.
It's weird.
Mission or acknowledgement of these programs, and it's always a big deal for the longtime researchers. They get a little bit of a moment to celebrate that it's now being taken seriously. But it goes back to, you were just saying, the World Economic Forum about 3 years ago. Their theme was regaining trust. How do we regain trust of the public? We've lost the trust of the public. Well, how do you do that? You start releasing all the old documents. You start admitting to all the hot button issues, MKUltra maybe being one of the bigger ones, and you collect all the data. You collect all the sentiment from the public. So yeah, I'm very skeptical of the entire thing here. But let's take a listen to Representative Miss Luna and see what she has to say here right from the beginning. Here we go.
This hearing is about the crimes committed by the Central Intelligence Agency against the American citizens and the decades of secrecy used to conceal them. The American people deserve a complete and truthful record. The victims and their families deserve acknowledgement, and this Congress has a constitutional obligation to ensure that full declassification is not delayed any longer. Project MKUltra was not a policy failure or an overzealous program that got out of hand. It was a deliberate, systematic governmental operation that subjected American citizens, prisoners, hospital patients, veterans, ordinary people to LSD, electroshock, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, psychological torture without their knowledge or consent. This went on for 20 years on American soil, funded by American taxpayer dollars and authorized by the very top of the U.S. intelligence apparatus. And this program, when it did end, the men who ran it did not cooperate with investigators. They did not come forward. They committed another crime. They destroyed evidence. The documents this task force has reviewed are unambiguous. In January 1973, the director of the CIA, Richard Helms, prepared to leave office. He personally ordered the destruction of MKUltra records. The CIA official document in writing states, over my stated objectives, the MKUltra files were destroyed by the order of DCI Mr. Helms shortly before his departure from office. A separate internal account confirms that Helms telephoned Dr. Gottlieb directly and instructed him to destroy, quote, all files pertaining to drug research and associated activities. Gottlieb compiled 4 people, spent an entire day burning down 152 files.
That's probably good. She starts going into a bunch of specifics there, but
a lot of things that the deep researchers have cited and mentioned over the years. Some of the destruction of evidence and covering up of certain things. If I recall, I think it was, I'm trying to remember, I think it was Bill Clinton in the 90s did some kind of apology for some of this stuff. Maybe I think Obama did some kind of public apology for some of these things. So it's not something that's completely new in terms of acknowledgement from the government. Of course, there wasn't a hearing.
Well, I mean,
it wasn't
they were
like a whole thing,
acknowledged back in 1973.
Well, yeah, I know. But like in terms of a hearing and really getting to the nitty gritty and releasing documents and stuff like that, that's
there's no hearing. It's one thing for Bill or Barry to go, oh yeah, sorry about MKUltra, we shouldn't have done that. But to do a hearing and actually do the documents is a little different. But
sure.
She even said here, she's talking about the 20 years from the 50s to the 70s that we know that it happened, that are declassified. But it's kind of interesting. The hearing did end up going in a direction that I think a lot of people are kind of happy that it did. The Daily Mail does have an article on the whole thing. I don't think we necessarily need to read the article. I thought it might be a little bit more interesting to take a little bit of a stroll through some clips of some parts that I think are particularly important when it comes to understanding sort of the broad direction of either of this operation or of the culture or something. And I want to start out with this clip here where they really do go back to not just the CIA doing MKUltra, but even before that, tying American intelligence operations with a little bit more of a sketchier history than I think they'd appreciate. Let's try this one.
Operation Paperclip brought over 1,600 German scientists into the United States government after World War II, including individuals who had conducted human experimentation in concentration camps. The CIA and military were aware of their backgrounds and recruited them anyways. In your research, did you find direct documentation between Paperclip scientists and the development of MKUltra's experimental protocols, specifically the use of mescaline, hypnosis, and sensory deprivation, which were techniques also documented at Dachau?
Absolutely. Kurt Blome, who was the chief of biological weapons development for the Nazi government, came to work for the CIA. So did Walter Schreiber, who was the Surgeon General of the Nazi army. I can just tell a brief story. When I was researching my book, I found what I think might be the first secret CIA prison or black site. It's a nice chalet in Germany. And the guy who now owns it took me into the basement. He said these were the cells where the MKUltra officers, working side by side with Nazis, carried out those gruesome experiments, which were actually just continuations of the experiments that those Nazis had been conducting just a few years earlier, right down the road.
Just for timeline and clarification, these experiments were happening after the Nuremberg trials, correct? So the CIA would have known that these were crimes against humanity.
I looked for an episode in which the Nuremberg doctrines were posted on the wall in some MKUltra or CIA office, and I was never able to find any indication that those Nuremberg principles ever were even consulted, much less obeyed.
Wow.
Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths.
Dr. Kinzer, a researcher and an author who has done a lot of work on this. He's a little bit of a character. He's got a bit of an attitude. He's kind of a fun guy. He's got big, bushy, white eyebrows for those who are just listening. But yeah, tying not just the CIA, but the MKUltra, sorry, not just MKUltra, but CIA participation in this kind of work all the way back to the Nazis. We hear about Project Paperclip a lot. We talk about Project Paperclip a lot, mostly in the context of rocketry, NASA, space travel, that kind of stuff. But this really kind of out in the open and in public is now connecting the intelligence apparatus to not just like Nazi sympathize, but like literal Nazis.
Right. No, it's the cream of the crop when it comes to the scientists.
Right.
And literally going into our literal CIA and conducting the experiments and whatnot. I mean,
if nothing else, the spiritual ancestry of the CIA being right, which of course we know we're not surprised by, but like you say, we've seen sort of controlled apologies, controlled disclosures in the past, and it's all, we don't do it anymore. It wasn't good. We'll never do it again. Right. It's been like that for 50 years. But now it's like from the halls of Congress, the CIA was staffed with Nazis who were drugging and mind controlling. They're going all the way, baby.
It's fascinating because in the World War II paradigm, the good guys and bad guys were established. The good guys were the Americans, the West, and the bad guys were the Nazis.
It was the new established mythology. It wasn't just a war. It wasn't just politics. It was mythologically imperative that that's why a Nazi is considered the ultimate evil even now 100 years later.
Right. And once the United States won the war, and I'm air quoting, who really wins a war, right? But that's kind of how the history has been written. Of course, we adopt all the scientists and whatnot, but it's really interesting to see what the CIA did very soon after the establishment of the modern nation state of Israel, because they established a relationship with the nation state of Israel. In 1951, they started working with the Mossad. They created a whole intelligence operation in the Soviet Union and the Eastern Bloc and everything. So the United States is kind of like the bringer of the two sides together, and let's become one big family of intelligence. And so, while this is telling one side of the story, I think there's another side of it too that is it's all under one umbrella. But I just want people not to forget that, because it's so easy to think that one side is against the other in that old paradigm. But since the end of World War II, it really hasn't been. It's just all kind of come under this intelligence umbrella in the United States. And, the line between good guy, bad guy is not so apparent to
It's all mythology. But like the
yeah.
understanding of all that is all mythology.
Right.
And interesting enough, I think, we ask why now, what's the timing, what's going on, all these CIA, all these ops, going on around us. The world is changing, beast system is coming, network state paradigm instead of nation state paradigm. We're really seeing like an epochal paradigm shift going on right now. And I could see this kind of transparency like this serving as a sort of destruction of the old mythology so they can build a new one, right?
Right. Yeah.
So
very much so.
So there's this destruction of what we all kind of took for granted as like, hey, this is what's right, wrong, good, bad, politics, in sort of an earthly manner, of course, aside from what we truly know. Thank you, God. But, from the population control, mind control type of thing, they're really quite earnestly destroying that post-World War II mythology. And the sketchy part is not necessarily destroying the illusion of that mythology that they use for control, but what comes next? What is the new mythology? Because they're going to have to build some new set of symbols for the world. And, to build and install a new set of symbols, you need something really traumatic, like COVID. COVID was a good example, right?
Yeah.
There's a time before COVID and there's a time after COVID. And before COVID, if you saw somebody wearing a surgical mask, you wouldn't think anything of it. But now that mask, which they themselves in their own scientific papers called a talisman, a magical object to know where somebody stands. Now you see somebody wearing a surgical mask and you just know everything about them. You know their politics.
But it's also caused us to judge those who are wearing
of course.
mask.
Well, that's the point.
That's
the creating of the new mythology is they want to this is the way they change how you see the world, right? Not just
Shaping
what you know
perceptions.
about the world, but they shape the perceptions by installing these little symbols in you that then change the way you see the world. So like a map,
I think maybe a time traveler will give us more of what is maybe to come later on here. So keep that in mind.
Exactly. Okay. So there you go. Very, very interesting. Now let's move on to the next one. This was a question. What are some of the worst things about MKUltra? Asked to the same fellow.
What are some of the worst abuses that you're aware of in the MKUltra program?
I can start by just naming, I'll talk about one in particular that always sticks in my mind. In the federal prison in Lexington, Kentucky, a group of African-American inmates was segregated and fed what were described in the protocol as double, triple, and quadruple doses of LSD every day for 77 days.
Did they all survive?
We have no idea what happened to them. This has stuck with me ever since I wrote that book. What happened to them? Did they ever find out what was given to them? Did they think they were going crazy? I think if
Do you think we're still experimenting on prisoners or people in prison today?
I don't have any information about it.
Well,
Yeah, right. You get this answer a lot. Like the guys who were doing the presenting, I suppose, or being asked the questions, they were very good at being like, I don't know. I don't have evidence of that when asked like the most intense questions, which is good. You got to do that. That's a good way to, make sure that you stay reliable, even if they, in their heart know something happens to say that. But
Right.
I thought this one was interesting because, of course, you say, yeah, MKUltra, of course they were drugging people. Like we know this. We know they were drugging people. But I thought it was interesting because we know the occult roots of the Nazis. We know their whole occult thing. We know the occult ritualistic practices of social engineering and mind control that the CIA, we just went through the Empire State Building ritual earlier in the episode. And he's talking about here where they took inmates and dosed them with LSD every day in increasing increments over 77 days. And I just thought that was very interesting, for a scientist to be creating, for a mad, evil scientist for the CIA who was probably a Nazi, an occult Nazi or something, to create experiments. There is a parallel that is often sort of goes unappreciated. A parallel between sort of the scientific method and like magical ritual, right? Because these scientists, they had to have chosen a length of time, to test the LSD on the patients. Why did they choose 77 days? Why not 75 days? Why not 100 days? This sort of thing. So it's sort of, I don't know, in my mind, it's really kind of building this picture, again, stemming from the start of like, yeah, this was all a Nazi program before it was a CIA program, and kind of following the logic flow there. But they talk about LSD, of course, a well-known piece.
Before you,
before
you jump off the 77 thing, in Aleister Crowley's Thelema, it's one of his, worldviews or his religion, his satanic religion. He had something called the Liber Oz, OZ, and it's designated Liber 77. It's a declaration for do what thou wilt. And of course, with the Hebrew Oz, it OZ has the value of 77, and it can mean strength or might.
Wow.
Yeah.
And well, which like you say, is the founding principle of Thelema.
Yeah,
that's the most important phrase of Thelema is do as thou wilt. Of course, Satanism, et cetera, et cetera. And yes, for that phrase to hold the value 77 right in the name. And then, even imagine the Nazi or the CIA scientist who's like doing these evil things. You have to, your own moral code has to be that of do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law.
Yeah.
Because any scientist or spy or anything that has any reasonable human moral system, any Christian, any regular natural moral system would say, hey, yeah, you probably shouldn't be doing these things. And they, even in themselves, would not be able to carry through. But if you're operating from the satanic do as thou wilt, now there's no moral problem with taking prisoners and dosing them every day for 77 days and all the other horrible things required to do this.
There's also, just briefly, just to throw it out there, conceptually, there is an overlap in my mind with all the MKUltra stuff and the alien, especially alien abduction topic, because, as I've been ranting for a few weeks now about how I think a lot of the UFO culture and the narrative that was crafted after like Roswell, for example, comes as a cover-up for human experiments that were done, horrific ones, that, the government is very thankful for the narrative of aliens to get out there because it's a good way for everyone to be distracted and wonder and, go down different rabbit holes when really they were just experimenting on humans, pretty horrific things. And so there's that overlap, and nobody's making those connections necessarily out there, but just conceptually, I want to put it out there because there is a big overlap that gets missed. People compartmentalize something like MKUltra and, the government covering up alien abductions, but there's a an overlap that is much bigger than what is probably being considered right now. So just
Totally. And that was a huge part of the movie Disclosure Day as well. Not to get too deep into it, but I mentioned like Disney was implied in Disclosure Day. And long story short, there's a point in the film where this woman, they need her to remember what happened when the aliens got her, like abducted her. And what they do is I'll just say what they do is very MKUltra-esque.
Right. They connect her to machines
her
and stuff.
like go back to her programming.
Right.
Very
Okay.
interesting. Okay, so yes, on the LSD topic here, this is a long clip, so we're just going to play it until it feels right. So there you go. On the LSD topic, here you go.
Mr. O'Neill.
Almost 50 years ago, the last congressional hearings into MKUltra took place just a short walk from here in the Dirksen Senate office building. At those hearings, convened in August and September of 1977, representatives of the CIA told Congress and the American people that its 25-year effort to control human behavior had been a colossal failure. Because I believe Congress was never told the truth about what this program actually achieved. In fact, I believe the agency misled Congress in 1977 when it characterized MKUltra as a failure. My name is Tom O'Neill, and in 1999, I accepted a magazine assignment to write a story about murders committed by a group of hippies called the Manson family. For those unfamiliar with this horrific episode of American history, in the summer of 1969, 4 young people acting on the orders of a cult leader named Charles Manson went to the home of movie director Roman Polanski and murdered everyone they found there, including his 8.5-month pregnant wife, the actress Sharon Tate. The victims were complete strangers to their killers. The following night, Manson's followers murdered another couple in the same grisly fashion. At the time I accepted the assignment, I'd never heard of MKUltra, and I wouldn't for another 2 years after I'd missed countless deadlines, lost the assignment, and fallen down a nightmarish rabbit hole trying to answer the question I couldn't quite shake. How had Manson, a barely literate ex-con, acquired the ability to persuade ordinary young people to murder complete strangers simply because he had told them to? The pursuit of the answer to that question led me to Dr. Louis Julian West, known to his friends as Jolly. West was one of the most influential psychiatrists in America. During his career, he crossed paths with some of the most controversial events of the 20th century, including the Patty Hearst kidnapping case and the aftermath of the John F. Kennedy assassination investigation.
Okay, you
In
can stop.
1977,
It goes into more specifics, and it's very interesting. Actually, I had read a book on this whole thing before, so I probably read his book actually. Now that I think
Was
about
it called Chaos? I think his book was called Chaos.
Yeah, it's possible. It was a few years back. So here you go again, just here in public. Now we are starting to connect MKUltra with so many things, right? In Congress, straight up, connecting MKUltra with the Manson murders, JFK, Patty Hearst, this long list of, again, almost mythological stories at this point. And turns out, seems like maybe the CIA and MKUltra had a hand in all of them, not only crafting the circumstances and the psychology for the events to happen, but then using those stories as mechanisms for social control and social programming. So pretty interesting.
Yeah, and I think again, a lot of this is known. Like I've read stuff about Jolly. And
Jolly West.
A lot of it is well documented stuff. So it's nice to kind of hear it, I guess, in the hearings. But it's my mind always goes to like why is this being? There must be at a point where it's an opt to measure reaction you know, to
Well, let
really
me
get a
tell you.
sentiment on the public so that they can kind of plan the next event or
Let me
whatever to, you know,
let me
shape
give you
control.
a perspective from the kind of like occulty side of it, right? Because yes, again, these guys are researchers and have written books on this. So
Yeah.
everything they're saying, they have already written and put in a book and people know about.
Right.
But you got to remember why these hearings exist.
Right.
These hearings exist, A, to get things out into the public, make them official mainstream news so that they can be disseminated, right? That's one big, obvious part of it. Another part, they have hearings. And sometimes when they have these hearings, this is the only reason they have them, because the news isn't interested in what they're talking about. Nobody ever knows about it, even though they have a hearing.
Right.
Is that the sort of grimoire formatting, the sort of magical principles that when it comes to law and documents and writing things down. Of course, I always mention, the mythology of the Egyptian god Thoth bringing writing to humans, and of course in biblical accounts or extra biblical accounts, it was the Watchers that came and brought writing along with magic, along with alchemy, along with like et cetera, et cetera. And so really the whole legal system, and I won't go on the full rant here, but when you look at the format of the legal system and of laws and documents and constitutions and stuff like this, the formatting is all copied from grimoires. They are all very reminiscent of the magical books of the medieval era, where not just what is said, but the language said and the formatting especially is like the most important thing to sort of establish reality. And in their minds, in their idea of this, they operate under the understanding that, what they write down makes it true. It's a function of crafting reality. So these congressional hearings, yes, are for publicity, not always, but often. But on top of that, the big thing is, look, all this information already existed in books, but now it is written down in an official document in the Library of Congress. And the Library of Congress is that sort of ultimate dictated truth for the occult institution that is the government, right?
So it's like a summoning of the information to the public initiation ritual in a sense. Making these things that are known sort of codified in a more official state. Yeah.
The publicity is the initiation ritual for the public, and the transcribing it into the Library of Congress is sort of the official, now it is true. Now it is reality. Now we bring this thing, whatever it is, from the realm of intention and thought and all their gobbledygook, right? And now we manifest it into reality is how they would describe it.
Right.
Okay. Now let's move on. Let's get a little bit more chummy with it here. Let's just play it.
This task force could also consider trying to determine whether some new incarnation of MKUltra exists today. When the main phase of MKUltra drew to a close in the early 1960s, Sidney Gottlieb concluded that it had failed, that in fact there is no such thing as mind control. Even if he was right, however, he may have been right only at that time. In the many decades since then, there have been enormous advances in cyber technology, in artificial intelligence, in neuroscience. Covert agencies may have access now to tools for mind control that Sidney Gottlieb could not even have imagined. It may well have been true in 1963 that mind control is a myth, but whether it's still true is uncertain. And that question of whether mind control might now be possible under our new circumstances is something that has presumably occurred to scientists who work for secret services, including our own. This task force has a chance to connect the past to the future. A renewed effort to find MKUltra documents from the 1950s and to fill out the redactions of those that have been released might shed new light on how the CIA operated during that period. It could also inform a new inquiry into whether any mind control projects are now underway inside the US security apparatus. That might help prevent the emergence of a 21st century MKUltra that could be even more destructive than the original. Thank you.
Yeah, to asking the question, hey, I think it's possible it could happen now, which is a good, way to not just make this about, like they keep having to say, like, yeah, we knew about this in the 70s. Yeah, we knew about this in the 70s, right? So making a call to hold the current CIA to account, not just the ones of the past. And by extension, if you have something to say, we could also jump into this next clip related.
Yeah, I mean, just keep moving.
CIA and the federal government said that this didn't exist, and then they came back and said, well, it does exist, and then but we're not doing it anymore. I guess my question to y'all first is, which lie do we believe? Because thank you.
I know there's a lot of speculation out there about the Butler shooting, and I guess even the Charlie Kirk shooting. I just hate to speculate because I don't know. I have no firsthand knowledge whether those guys were programmed through radio waves or through their computer activity. So I would never hazard a guess, except to say what I've already said, that they developed means that we've never been told about many, many years ago. And I imagine they've evolved to be much more effective now. So
let me interrupt you one more time, and I apologize again. But don't you think that they could cast this broad net through these algorithms and other things, and maybe they don't know the exact person it's going to affect, but they know what type of person it's going to affect, and they know it's going to happen, and that way they can't predict when it's going to happen, but they think it will happen, and then that way they can sort of wash their hands of this whole thing and say, well, we didn't have anything to do with it, but in effect they really did, because they put this out there and they continue to put it out there. To what other method you're talking about. Go ahead, guys. I'm sorry. Ma'am, if you want to jump in.
She's within IH.
Okay. Doctor, go ahead.
It sounds to me like you're describing something like the Martin Luther King assassination. The FBI didn't carry it out, but it created such a climate just denouncing King as the most dangerous man in America and putting out all this material about how he was helping communists that they must have thought it's going to filter down. Somebody will take action, and then we can say we didn't have anything to do with it.
And James Earl Ray was a third-rate thief.
All right, the clip ends right there. But
clip ends right there, but you get the point. They kind of go
Yeah,
on
I get the
about it.
point.
Putting it
Of
on
course.
the record. Hey, again, the stories of old MKUltra are very sensational. Drugs and, torture and, it's all this big, scary stuff. But today, in the situation we're in now, it's exactly algorithms. It's simple. It's several layers removed. And maybe now they don't need to kidnap a single person and trap them in a room for 77 days and give them LSD and blah, 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 blah. But they can subject 100 million people to the series of programming to create the circumstances where someone unstable, someone on lithium, someone on SSRIs, who's in the wrong, chat rooms. We know CIA has whole warehouses full of people who just sit in chat rooms and guide those chat rooms, right? Which is exactly it. That's exactly everything.
What I think the earlier studies and the examples that are much more public and well known now, they were very specific, targeted things. Well, with the advent of technology, the communication networks, social media, all these different things, certainly they've been able to do this at scale. They've been able to scale it out. And hey, you create traumatic moments. 9/11, extremely traumatic moment for the whole country. You can control the masses and their behavior from that. And then whatever it might be, it could be wokeness, it could be COVID. instead of holding him down in some prison cell, you just let everybody sit in their house for a few months, and then they can't go anywhere.
Everybody.
You traumatize
And
everyone.
That's where the mainstream media, that's where what we're seeing with Trump is so specifically an example of this, because COVID, you traumatize everybody, right? You put everybody into the state of fear and controllability. Then simultaneously, you go on and say, Trump is a Nazi, Trump is a Nazi, Trump is a Nazi, Trump is a Nazi, Trump is Hitler, Trump is Hitler. Repeat it a bajillion times. And somebody somewhere is going to be traumatized enough, get put into that state, and then you instruct them repetitiously enough for a long enough amount of time, somebody will pick up the gun.
It's like what's that thing with the marbles where they put it inside of a thing? They randomize the dropping of marbles, but it always creates like a pyramid shape and like the natural distribution of marbles. I don't know. It's kind of Plinko or something. Yeah, something like that, where it always, no matter where the marbles come from, it naturally forms this sort of shape where the cream rises to the top kind of thing. I mean, of course they're doing that. Of course they're able to do that, and of course that allows the social controllers to be like, hey, we didn't do anything, we just put the tools out there. Their hands are clean, and we have nothing to do with it.
Tracked back because nobody was specifically targeted and nobody specifically gave the order, etc.
Which does make it extremely a spiritual thing.
Exactly.
It's a very spiritual thing that is happening here, and I think that's another layer of this that maybe the general public doesn't necessarily get into. But our late colleagues like Russ Dizdar have been talking about satanic ritual abuse for a long time, trauma-based control. He even mentioned how demons were assigned to certain hidden personalities of individuals based on trauma and things of that nature. So these are all like the mechanics of everything makes a lot more sense in the context of the spiritual side of things. So
and it's where you have occult Nazi scientists doing the quote unquote experiments to learn the spiritual mechanics to fight
take advantage
what is essentially a spiritual war, now that they know how sort of the spiritual battle on a broad sense is played. And which is also why when people start waking up, they inevitably find Christ. There is no you start watching it, you start paying attention, you start learning, God's gonna get you. It's just inevitable. All right, now
what about this NIH lady?
You heard the NIH clip is hilarious because the guy was talking about MKUltra, and Tim Burchett points to the lady sitting next to him and says, "Oh, if she wants to say anything, she can." But then somebody reminds him, like, "Oh no, she's not. They're not together. Like they're not doing this. She's from NIH." And so there's this random woman from NIH, the National Institute of Health, and here she gets a chance to talk.
And right now, we're ceding our leadership in biomedical research to China. That's what's happening right now.
What about covering up harmful side effects of vaccines and the role that the NIH has played in that? What do you have to say about that, ma'am?
The U.S. history of human subjects protection has evolved greatly. Numerous research improprieties from the 50s to the 70s in the United States, including the Tuskegee syphilis study, forced Congress to establish formally federally
I'm not asking you about that.
mandated rules.
You know what I'm asking you about? I'm asking you about how NIH handled COVID. Obviously, this is supposed to be a hearing about MKUltra, but when you gave your opening statement, and I don't even know why you were called to this hearing because you didn't offer anything about MKUltra. But since you are here and you're going to defend NIH, I'm going to call you out on it. Do you see now what I'm talking about when you say that the NIH doesn't have integrity problems and trust issues? Did you hear the applause in this room? That should tell you right now that you're pretty tone deaf to what the public thinks about how the NIH handled COVID and the cover up, not only the funding of it, but the cover up involved in the aftermath. Can you acknowledge that?
I'm sorry, that's not my understanding.
It's like one person in the back, like
That's
you
not my
are.
understanding. You know,
Oh,
and
man,
this was
that's
kind of
great.
funny because it seems a little off topic, right? Because you go, but the
Yeah.
circumstances of this is very interesting because they're talking about MKUltra, which includes the government experimenting on people without their knowledge. The Nuremberg Code gets brought up, and for some reason, this woman, this institutional woman from NIH, is there, and she gets up and she just starts defending in the context of Nuremberg Code and experimentation on people when they don't know about it, starts defending the NIH, starts defending the government. He is the government's like
Wait, okay.
now.
I don't know what was asked before she started speaking in this clip. I didn't sit here and watch the whole hearing, but what I thought she was talking about at the beginning, because she was talking about China, right?
Yeah.
In my mind, I thought she was saying, and maybe this is kind of admission without admission, we're sending our best scientists to China, as like an analogy of like, oh, the best Nazi scientists came to America and the CIA. Well, we're losing our best scientists to China, as if to
You're
admit
close.
that, we're the Nazis kind of thing.
You're really close. You're really close. But what
Okay.
in the context of what she was doing, or what kind of why she was there, what she was doing was, without saying it, and she fell into this trap a little bit. She came there, and her position that she was taking implicitly, like, I don't even think she realized this is what she was saying, but she came there to defend the government. Full stop. She was there on behalf of defending
Yeah.
the government, right?
Yeah.
And you heard her talking earlier about like Nuremberg Code. Oh, it was so bad that we experimented on people back in the day without telling them. Now we have a bunch of rules, right? And what she's trying to say is like, we have rules now, so no, we don't MKUltra people. We would never do that.
Wait, there
right?
were rules back then too, but okay.
That's
Go
what
ahead.
she's trying to say is like,
Yeah.
we would never do that again. That's wrong. There were no rules back then. There's rules now. I'm here to defend the government. But what she ends up saying is the same thing we see in the conversation about AI and stuff. What she says is, well, China's doing it. China's brainwashing their
Okay.
people and controlling them and making super soldiers, mindless killing machines that they give drugs to for 77 days. China's doing it. So if China's doing it, we have to do it. It's an issue of national security. Like, this is the subtext. She just falls into this trap of saying, yeah, okay, we don't do anything bad anymore. But if we were going to do something bad, it would be okay because we have to. Because if we don't do the bad thing, then China will do the bad thing. And you could tell even the audience and her and the question asker, they get into this like befuddlement. Like, suddenly everybody kind of realizes at the same time, like, they're befuddled. Like, wait a second, is she defending doing MKUltra to keep experimenting on people without their knowledge because China does it? And she even realizes, like, oh my gosh, did I just say this? Uh-oh, I have nothing else to say. I'm just going to stop talking. I don't have any thoughts on that.
She shuffled her papers and went to the next page.
She shuffled her papers. She folds her hands. She looks forward and says, I don't have an opinion on that. And she's just done.
Yeah, that was
It's
good.
so
Good
perfect.
moment. Good moment.
But now, in the in the initiation ritual that this thing is for the public, now COVID gets sucked into the conversation. This is a
Right.
talk.
Yeah.
This is a hearing on MKUltra, but now the whole thing shifts to COVID, and
Mhm.
it's like, uh-oh, Nuremberg Code, COVID, NIH, hiding data, da 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 da, and there was simultaneously, as people are processing this and spreading this online, there was a clip from a Joe Rogan episode that I'd like to play. It's just a couple minutes, but it's, I think, a recent Joe Rogan episode, and somebody's giving a historical account of early MKUltra stuff that was happening in Canada. And so keep COVID in our minds, keep NIH, and then let's, this is also in the sort of memosphere of internet culture right now. Let's play this.
On Canada Day, too, by the way. Today's Canada Day.
Even besides drugs, MKUltra is involved in a lot of psychological experiments. So not just LSD. Most people associate MKUltra with LSD, but one of the most expansive of the subprojects is Subproject 68. It was by this guy named Ewan Cameron. Have you heard that name before?
No.
Cameron? Okay, Ewan Cameron. He is a psychiatrist up in Montreal in Canada, working at what's called the Allen Memorial Institute.
Oh, yeah.
And Gottlieb wanted to expand MKUltra besides drugs because he already had a lot of people doing drug experiments. So he wanted to see if there were psychological techniques that could be used to manipulate a person. So not just in an interrogation, but can we actually like control a person's personality? Can we make them behave in certain ways, make them do something? So the idea that Ewan Cameron had come up with before the CIA is involved, I should mention Ewan Cameron is a behaviorist. So he thinks that all behavior is a result of nurture, not nature. So it's the environmental input that causes a person to behave a certain way. And he thought that if you could bring a person back down to a blank slate, remove all the environmental inputs that have been put into them, and then you can build them back up in your image into whatever you want them to be. So his idea to bring someone down to the blank slate was to induce enough stress that they forgot who they formerly were. And so you reduce them to the blank slate, and then the CIA is really interested in, if you could do that, then you could form them into whatever. So Ewan Cameron, his main goal is to try to figure out what can induce enough stress in a person to bring them down to that blank slate. And so he performs a lot of experiments. His most famous one is called psychic driving, where he was doing a therapy session, quote unquote therapy, with one of his patients. And he was recording the session, and she said something about how, my mother, when I was young, used to tell me blah, blah, blah. She said something negative to her. And so Ewan Cameron rewinded that on the tape that he was recording and made her listen back to it and said, hey, I want you to listen back to what you say your mother used to say to you. When he rewinded the tape and played it forward, as soon as the woman was kind of quoting her mother and she listened to that herself on the tape, she recoiled. And Cameron thought, oh, you have a negative reaction to that. So he rewinded again and again and again. And he kept rewinding it. And she just got more and more emotional, had this more and more kind of visceral reaction to what she was saying her mother used to tell her. So this led Cameron to develop the concept of psychic driving, which is you record some kind of negative message, and then you make someone listen to it for thousands and thousands and thousands of times for weeks on end, for hours every day. All their waking day, they basically are strapped into a headphone that is playing this negative message, and it will break them down over time. That's how you induce enough stress to break them down to the blank slate. And then you can record a positive psychic driving message to build them up into whatever image you want them to be. So that was his initial idea.
Was it based on anything?
Not really. It was just based on, he had this one encounter with this woman and she had a negative reaction, and he's just trying to induce stress. This obviously seemed to induce stress in her. Therefore, we're going to start playing these negative tapes to them.
So it was just his idea.
It's just his idea.
So
probably demonic, but go ahead.
Sure, of course, that's all part of it. So the MKUltra hearing suddenly becomes a hearing on COVID and NIH and how all that was handled. And of course, you take just in case somebody in some way has never heard of MKUltra, this is like the most basic common understanding of what they were doing with MKUltra. It's been shown in Hollywood movies and TV shows for a long time. They've done a little revelation of the method. But you go back to COVID times, and it's exactly what this guy is describing. You, put somebody in a trauma state so they feel in danger, like something's going to get you. And then you just replay the negative messaging over and over and over and over thousands of times. It's exactly what we saw with COVID. It's also exactly what we saw with 9/11, for those who are alive in 9/11. The danger of terrorism. It just becomes a constant drumbeat in society, this repetitious message. And this is now, thanks to an earlier clip, through the use of algorithms and social media. The whole thing is there. It's one thing, like you say, Gons, it's interesting. Okay, interesting how they're finally coming out and saying what happened in the 50s to the 70s. It's interesting they're talking about all the corruption. It's interesting that they're trying to tell the truth. But more than any of that, there's now all the pieces in place. You start looking around, and my hope would be that anybody who doesn't already know this could start looking around going, hey, wait a second. MKUltra never stopped. It's just happening on a mass scale all the time. Everything I see, every message I receive, our entire society is built around these methods that MKUltra developed for controlling people, controlling minds, but controlling behavior. And I just want to remind everybody here and myself just how grateful I am that the CIA has kept me safe for so long and for making this great American nation and the lifestyle that I live possible.
Very good. Very good. Yeah, I think the trauma-based mind control aspect of this, and also when you think about scaling, the technology available to scale, it can't be done by one person per se. It's almost too much for one person to have the ability to process everything on a larger scale, which makes me think that we are already under some control of some kind of artificial intelligence program, some algorithm. And when Tim Burchett was talking about algorithm, he's talking about, like TikTok algorithms and stuff like that. But in a sense, I'm picturing it much more on a cosmic type of scale here, and it seems to make sense that we have been operating under those conditions for a while, and that, it's not so much because ultimately, what are we expecting from this hearing? Are we expecting arrests? Are we expecting, the current program to be exposed and shut down? Are we, there's nothing that we, at least for me, I don't think there's any
destroying the mythology to make
destroying the
room
old
for
mythology, right?
Right.
Right.
It's
Well,
just
this is where I think
phase of the world we need to destroy the things of the past, and here.
Well, this is where I think the vigilante stuff is being programmed now to the public for a reason. I think this is why we're starting to see the I don't know, I guess the crowning or the what's the word I'm looking for? The king making or the highlighting of certain. I expect more of these like vigilante type stories to become public, and it's almost like the superhero narrative. If you look at the Marvel universe, we've been programmed for it for a long time, where it's the police and whatnot. They're around, but really we need Iron Man to show up to take care of the bad guys because the police can't handle the bad, or we need Batman or whatever. You need somebody else that has more power to take out the enemy, because the enemy is beyond human now. And I feel that this is sort of a staging process for all of that. So, and then we're kind of in the hands as a society, we're, prisoners to whatever those larger scale things are operating at. And we don't have control of that. And I think as things get more digital, it will become more prison-like, unfortunately. And people will value it. Is really we will have like a huge split in society, much like Dr. Hugo de Garis talked about with the Terrans versus the Cosmists and the Cyborgists and everything. I think we're going to see more of that type of sentiment where people want to stay connected to physical things or earthly things or personal relationships. That stuff will matter more as we exit the golden age of the internet era, Basil. That's sad to say that the internet golden age was more like YouTube and like the early days of YouTube and I don't know, Facebook or something. We see it as such a terrible time, but like in hindsight, in like 50 years, people might look back at that era like we look back at like the 50s or like make America great again, like that kind of mentality. Thinking that everything was so hunky-dory and great, like remember when Zuckerberg was just smoking some meat in the backyard? those were the days, you know. those were the days when the algos weren't so totalitarian. So anyway,
Yeah.
is there you got one? Oh no, you got this.
No, that's it. That's all I got.
Okay, so as part of this theme of declassifying everything, Trump said something very interesting. You have the clip of it here. It's 1 minute. Let me go ahead and play this here.
You've got D&I Pulte over there as the new director. We also know you have the task force set up on declassification, maybe talking about international, maybe looking at some declassification. Are you able to give us an update on
declassify almost everything? And, you know, by the way, we have Jay Clayton is going in. You know, Bill Pulte's a very talented guy, but he's just there temporarily until Jay Clayton. And Jay Clayton is going through the process. And Jay Clayton, highly respected, and so is Bill Pulte. But Bill is there just for a fairly short period of time. But while he's there, I said, you can declassify whatever you want.
Do you think we're going to get some soon, or maybe 2020?
I told him you can do it as fast. You got to ask him.
All right.
But I think it's a friend of yours. I think that Bill will declassify. I told him you can declassify whatever you want. So Bill's there just, you know, for maybe a month or 2 months or something. And Jay is going through the process. He's got a hearing in 2 weeks. Highly respected man, Jay Clayton. Okay? Thank you.
Okay, so he's giving Bill Pulte, the temporary guy, free reins to declassify almost everything.
Whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
Declassify it. Go nuts.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that. I don't necessarily trust that that's a thing, but okay.
I mean, it's throwing a stick of dynamite in the pond, you know. Hey, if as long as we're at it, if our goal is to destroy all the mythology that holds the old world together, just declassify it all, baby.
Speaking of which, let's do one more thing here. It's kind of a longer show today. What time is it? We're going long. We're
Two
going
and a half.
long.
I mean, we're still within the average, but yeah.
Need time.
Need time.
It's time.
It's time. It's all about time, baby. This is from the Daily Mail. Headline: I traveled to the year 2118. That's right. This person traveled to the year 2118.
Sounds familiar.
A self-proclaimed time traveler has come forward with an extraordinary claim that he journeyed to the year 2118 and returned with a chilling vision of humanity's future. The man, who identified himself as Alexander Smith, boy, what a name, appeared in a gray... What's that?
Not a real name.
Oh, dude, trust me. I don't even think this is a real person. Appeared in a gray suit and black tie, wearing a strange latex-like mask with an oversized nose and a bald head, as he warned the world as we know it will change a lot. Among his startling predictions were claims that artificial intelligence would one day rule the planet and that a small conflict between the U.S. and North Korea would spiral into a global war after Russia sided with Pyongyang and missiles were eventually launched, resulting in what some might describe as the Third World War. Smith also alleged that the CIA possesses advanced technologies that remain hidden from the public, including what he described as a secret time machine. According to his account, agency officials told him he would become the first test subject in an experiment designed to push the boundaries of space and time itself. Now, just real quick, the special treatment, this is very common. This is something I've noticed. Like if it's not AI hallucinating and telling somebody that they're just so wonderful and you've broken you've figured out some math equation that's never been solved and you're the first one to come up with some great idea, or you're a new ager channeling some entities telling this, the person getting channeled like, hey, you're so special, you're here to deliver a message. Or if it's Joseph Smith running into a couple angels allegedly telling him, hey, you're the guy that's going to give the true account of the Bible. The Bible's corrupt. You got to give the true stuff. Or it's Muhammad in the desert meeting some entities and then telling him like, hey, you're going to be the guy, or this is the truth. There's a theme when it comes to the deliverer of messages, and they're always told how they're part of a special program. They've been chosen, and which is not unlike what God did with the nation of Israel throughout. It's a similar thing, but you can see how the enemy can use a similar tactic because there's nothing new under the sun. But the fact that it's this time travel program, I mean, who did we cover back in 2012 or 13, Basil? The Mars episode? I forget the guy's name. No, not John Teeter. That's the time traveler. But there was another gentleman that was supposed to become president in 2016. And he basically came out and said, I was part of Project Pegasus and I was in the room with Obama. They told him he was going to become president. And then they looked at me and told me I was going to become the president. And then we went into a jump room and we went to Mars. I forget his name. But anyway, that same kind of deal.
Like, he was supposed to be president in 2016.
Yeah, I know.
Which is interesting because that is when Trump became president.
Yeah, I know.
It was weird and it wasn't upset
weird.
like that guy said it would be.
Yeah. Very interesting. Except he didn't get all the clout, maybe he was the misdirection. But any case, so point being that this is a theme that comes up a lot. They make them feel special. So anyway, this person also allegedly this what is his name? Alexander Smith, stage name, is claiming the same thing. He further claimed that the government routinely develops technologies decades before they become publicly available, telling viewers, quote, technologies that you're using right now, like smartphones, they were developed around 30 years prior to them actually being released. Boy, have you ever heard such revelations, Basil? I mean, man, I don't think anybody around here has ever said that.
Unbelievable.
So deep. And Smith insisted that the public deserves to know the truth about what is happening behind closed doors, claiming the next century will bring more change than any other period in human history. Okay. The interview released on the YouTube channel Apex TV was first published in 2018, but has recently resurfaced online, where viewers once again become captivated by his extraordinary claims. Let's find out more about these extraordinary claims. Smith has provided no evidence to support his extraordinary claims. And there is no proof that he worked for the CIA, traveled through time, or visited the year 2118. This article has it wrong. He does have some kind of proof. According to Smith, his story began in 1981, which is around the same time as Project Pegasus and Project Stargate, when he said he had already left the CIA and was working as a local carpenter. Oh, just a carpenter like Jesus. He claimed his life took an extraordinary turn while he was sitting on the couch watching television with his wife when there was a knock at the door. It's like a good movie. When he answered, Smith said he found two men dressed in black suits standing outside who told him to come with them because they worked for the CIA. They told me to go with them, so I complied, he said, adding that he was not even allowed to tell his wife where he was going. According to Smith, he was driven away, blindfolded, and eventually taken by helicopter to a secret underground military base where he was told he had been chosen to participate in a classified experiment. Doesn't this read like a really bad plot to just like 50,000 movies that have been out already?
Sounds like a really good plot.
Men in Black show up. You were in CIA. You're in retirement. You left the CIA, but these guys show up. You're chosen. You're brought back in.
It follows a really classic sort of hero's journey.
It does.
Thing, right? The kid is just a regular kid, and then something happens, and someone shows up and says, "Actually, no, you're really special.
You're special. We need you.
You must do your destiny."
All the end of the world movies have that, the retired scientist. We need you for one more, or like the Ocean's 11. We need you for one more job, like that kind of thing.
Well, convincing all of us that no matter how boring and mundane our life is, that at any moment something could happen, and so we just got to keep showing up to work. Okay, just keep being the cock in the wheel, baby.
Do you think they'll ever do that to us? Like, we need your expertise on the Bible to break the code or something.
Of course they will. Of course they will. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time before the government needs old Basil's help.
All right. So once he's in the secret location here, a scientist allegedly showed him what he described as a time machine and informed him that he was, quote, going to be the first test subject. Smith claimed that humanity's future would be shaped by a devastating conflict that begins as a relatively minor dispute. Yes, like all conflicts begin as a minor dispute. According to his account, quote, the country that I was a part of, the United States of America, was in a conflict with North Korea, and the conflict started off small. He said the confrontation eventually escalated after Russia soon took the side of North Korea, and tensions began to escalate, and eventually missiles were fired. When he did not specify where the missiles struck, Smith warned that, quote, the effects were not what one may consider desirable. That's very intelligent speak. He added that the conflict was what, quote, some might describe as the Third World War, claiming the devastation ultimately led to a dramatically different future in which, quote, the world began to become one and borders began to become meaningless. Are we jaded? Are we just jaded? I mean, there's nothing really too spectacular about these claims. Smith alleged that people in the future developed a love and appreciation for life that discouraged them from harming one another.
Yes, it's a utopia.
I mean,
it's the technocratic beast system utopia.
People today have a love and appreciation for life. He makes it sound like we're all walking around here like hating life. You know, it's just kind of weird. When he asked who the president was in 2118, Smith said he was told there was, quote, only one leader of this one world. Look at that. According to his account, that leader was an artificial intelligence that he claimed governed humanity better than any person could by maintaining, quote, peace, safety. That's, peace and safety than sudden destruction there in Thessalonians. Technological advancement and all of the other great things that could benefit our lives as humans, end quote. Smith says he was initially skeptical that the machine could lead the world, but claimed people in the future insisted that artificial intelligence was better suited to governing humanity than any human politician. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we're headed here right now. He also, this is my favorite part, he also described encountering human-like robots that floated above the ground and possessed the same rights as people. Okay, we got these floating people that are robots. According to Smith, there was, quote, no discerning the robots from ordinary humans, except that they had no legs and hovered several feet in the air.
It sounds like the powers of discernment are a little tweaked in 2018.
I couldn't tell if they were human or if they were robots. What was the only thing?
Well, you have no legs. You're floating around.
Floating without legs.
But you seem pretty human to me.
Otherwise, he was totally human. By the way, just as a side note here, let me open up this little clip of Trump talking to Teddy Roosevelt. He's just a torso floating.
We have an AI president. We have AI Teddy Roosevelt.
I think that's, he wants rights. He
no
wants
legs.
human rights.
Perfect.
Indistinguishable. Smith claimed that the time travel technology existed decades before the public knew about it and predicted it would become available beginning in the year 2028 for both commercial and non-commercial uses. He further alleged that 2028 is also, quote, the same year in which the government discloses the existence of intelligent extraterrestrials, claiming authorities had possessed knowledge of aliens for some time previous to the announcement. One of the more bizarre details involved what Smith described as an implant embedded beneath the skin of a robot's hand. Not the humans, the robots. He claimed the devices acted as an all-in-one form of identification and payment, telling him, quote, this is everything, because it could be used to make purchases, verify identities, and conduct transactions. In his first video, also released in 2018,
Why
Smith
is it under the robot's skin?
That's what I'm wondering.
The mark of the beast is only for the robots? It's in the robot's hand.
I know. Well, their names were not written since the foundation of the world, so it kind of makes sense, if you're following the biblical narrative there. In his first video, also released in 2018, Smith aimed to make himself known as the CIA was allegedly hunting him after he returned from the future. During the clip, he held up a photograph of a mysterious city skyline. Though he never revealed exactly where the image had been taken, the blurry picture appeared to show a row of enormous green, oddly shaped buildings in a city unlike anything that exists today. I have to show you today. This picture was taken in the year 2118. This picture was a city I walked in, he said while holding the image up to the camera. I'll never forget when I took that picture. I was right outside the city before I had walked into it. Smith claimed the futuristic metropolis featured slanted skyscrapers with a bluish tint, flying vehicles moving between buildings, and a red sky hanging above the city. He said the photograph was taken shortly after arriving in 2018. It referred to a district, or 2118, which he referred to as a District 508, this metropolis. That was a picture from the future, which I was able to take back. There was only a minor amount of distortion on it that was caused by the time traveling process. I like the detail, the focus on detail. The government confiscated the original photo.
For everything. He's got an explanation for everything.
The government confiscated the original photo, but before they took it from me, I did manage to make the copy I held before you. Despite that, the resurfaced interviews continue to attract online attention, with some viewers dismissing him as a hoaxer, while others remain fascinated by his warnings of global war, AI, tech that he claims are still being kept hidden from the public. And, again, Basil, I mean, this is, if there is a current MKUltra program and deliberate intelligence operations to, skew the masses and create narratives and create, fill that vacuum of exposing the old legacy world, I think a lot of these types of ops here. Clearly, this is some kind of op. If you're claiming to be CIA or ex-CIA, now they're out to get him. It's a nice story, or it's an elaborate hoax. Either way, it kind of feels.
I'm less interested in the fact that this guy made videos and made these claims. I'm more interested in the Daily Mail running it as a news headline.
Well, that was going to be my last point, which is, why is the Daily Mail bringing this to us, which is a video that went viral in 2018. And then, classic Daily Mail in the last few months is like bringing up old stuff and making it seem like it's groundbreaking and going viral again and all these kinds of things. If nothing else, it has to be part of the narrative craft for.
And it's the raw sewage, right? It's Obama taught us. You just flood the zone with raw sewage and nobody can tell what's true or not. While similar to the operation with climbing the Empire State Building on the same day that the MKUltra hearing is getting out there. Daily Mail coming in covering the very real MKUltra story, right? MKUltra hearings, and then simultaneously doing a news story on some stupid time traveling hoaxer from 2018, right? You're mixing the true with the with the sewage, and it creates the confusion. It creates the lack of grounding for people to actually stand on. Now, will they question the reporting on MKUltra? Maybe, maybe not. Will it just more generally create a worldview that is filled with all of the craziest conspiracy theories, the craziest hyper reality possible, to put them in some sort of state to be controlled as the elites, activate the technocratic beast system? Yes, probably. Whichever direction that actually goes, we know that it's all part of the op, baby. It's all part of the plan, baby.
All right. Well, hopefully they're not coming after you and your secrets with your time machine.
Not yet. Not if I get my Palantir coat. Not if somebody sends me a Palantir chore coat. I could probably fit in a medium. Now that I think of, I was thinking the one that I looked at on eBay on Monday was a size medium. And I thought, oh, I'm more of a size large guy. But we read the article, and the guy said his was medium and that it was gigantic. So I could probably fit in the medium.
It's fitted for Nephilim, so maybe.
Just saying.
Maybe it's
just saying. I saw the medium on eBay, and now that I think back, I think I would fit in a medium. Just in case, you can find our whatever it's called, PO box over there at canarycry.support, because that's what it takes to keep this show going, folks. We can't do without you. Thank you to all of our producers in every form that you take, your time, your talent, your treasure. It's all extremely important, and we're all very grateful to you and the good Lord above for keeping this show going. We have a couple producers we want to thank who come in. They help us out with their time, and we couldn't do without them, Gons. You know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the timestampers.
Timestamp, it's hard work. Timestamp.
Talk about people who control time in the Canarium. I mean, this is timestampers. So it looks like Jade Bouncerson came in, did the timestamps for episode 953. Thank you very much, Jade Bouncerson. Appreciate you.
Thank you very much, Jade Bouncerson, for keeping the time. If it weren't for you, we would be lost in the time streams.
The timekeeper. Yes.
Thank you to Jam for heading up the Telegram channel. Thank you to Adam42 for doing the Discord channel. If you are not yet connected in a place online with other Canarians just like you who are on the level and know what's going on, you got to get connected. Very important to have some fellowship, even at the very least online. That's okay. If you're a Telegram person, if you're a Discord person, you can go to canarycry.party and join those communities there. Even if you're not a Telegram or Discord person, you can become them and go hang out with Canarians. You can also go to canarycry.community, which is a sort of punk rock black market sort of little gathering place that is not connected to any of the big social media platforms there. Thank you to Joe for your feedback. Thank you to Clank for clanking. Thank you to Sir Ike for everything you're doing, Sir Ike. And other than that, share the show. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Share it. We like to call it rattling cages, and all you got to do is walk right up to them, grab them by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted. I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! Don't ever silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Guns, you got any last words?
According to the Canary Cry calendar, tomorrow is World UFO Day, although there's been like 4 or 5 different World UFO Days in the last month and a half. I don't know what's going on with that. They can't agree on one. There's multiple of them. And also, I just noticed on Giphy, the GIF of the 2 climbers already on the homepage. They're already GIFed. They're memed already. This is.
I have scrolled through maybe a dozen very clever AI remakes of it as well.
Oh, yeah, the remakes are definitely there, but yes, this,
song with Michelle Obama's head on it. Climbing up the building.
we need the AI version of the Canary Cry flag, flying with these two up there.
Something clever. Get at it there, artists. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. It's not a podcast. It's a lifestyle. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die.
Toilets! Feed him more. Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths.
Generally speaking, Chinese people look Chinese.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
I think I was PSYOP'D.
That's on YouTube.
Armageddon's on the
This is the
way.
United States of America, for God's sake.
I want to shake things up, shake things up. I want to shake things up, shake things up. Leave the bird alone. I want to stir up some controversy. I want to rattle a few cages. I want to rattle a few cages. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. A crusader for the little guy. Little guy. Little guy. Well, we'll see about that.
Whatever, Illuminati.
In the future, humans will be confined in a people's zoo.
I'll keep you safe and warm in my people's zoo. I'll keep you safe and warm now in my people's zoo. Give me a break. You, yeah, you in my people's zoo. I'll keep the cameras on in my people's zoo. I'll keep the cameras on now in my people's zoo.
Devil worshippers.
You, yeah, you in my people's zoo.
What if you're a grifter who needs to sell ads?
Toilets.
Armageddon's on the way.
I'll make you fat and sassy in my people's zoo. I'll make you fat and sassy in my people's zoo. Lord. You, yeah, you. You, yeah, you. You, yeah, you in my people's zoo.
I've ordered more pills than anyone in the world.
He's a Satanist from one of the Satanist churches here where they sacrifice babies.
And a resounding baga flies through the air across the world.
They love killing.
Why are you screaming like a wild bird?
Rattle their cage. They have a lot of people screaming randomly. Why don't you shout? It will be their call out. They have a lot of people screaming randomly.
Go ahead and
Why don't you shout?
why are you screaming like a wild bird?
Taking and no man deceive you. Many shall come in my name. Say I am Christ, and shall deceive any. Ye shall hear of wars, rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. But the end is not yet. A nation shall rise against nation, a kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes
and diverse places. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
Value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
Canary